Usta Weng, a girl who traveled to another world. As soon as I got here, I noticed something was wrong. How serious is this world? What has this experienced? This is when I suddenly heard someone talking outside the door. I'll leave this fee to you, no matter what you want to do to him, you can. I only want one person to die in the end. Do you understand? After the two of them got up and listened, it was a dramatic moment. Even without saying anything, you knew what they were thinking. Then I promised that I would definitely learn English well. This is what the heroine remembered. This is the second sister of the original owner. Is he going to kill me? He couldn't help but think too much. 2 colored leathers. What did you charge directly? It's 2,000 hot. He was immediately pushed to the ground. Pinch the civilians to fight and sweep them away. Who would have expected that the person who erroneously testified was okay? The person who erroneously testified was even more excited about these two pairs. His brain was leaking out. The heroine listens to your voice and is breaking up. A Xiaojin next to him looked at it, and he began to write secretly in his heart. Then he took 2 steps to make a decision. Suddenly the heroine's expression became serious. Finally, I clapped my hands hard. 8-2. How many people are there? The two of them are a little surprised. This small press film has to be cleaned. After saying that, he immediately rushed up again. Female protagonist stable application Miss Shuangmu. Shoot a circle with one hand. Your song emphasizes another defeat. Then a pass through the card solve the issue. Be able to make corrections with the help of scriptures. Just kill the legs randomly. Lord Yu is also enlightened. It's not that easy to run away. Then catch up to the gas cap and catch him. My brain suddenly hurts. It seems I haven't adapted to this body yet. He was given the opportunity by other bags and was slapped away. Take advantage of the opportunity and run. At this time, the heroine Yun Mushuan seems to have been scared to death before. The starting point of escaping changes to running and changing. Help the second young son. The second young lady, who had just walked not far, suddenly heard a shout, and was about to return to the broken second. The heroine feels something is wrong. Randomly collect a piece of wood and roll the average amount. Facing the expected back, the wilderness god sent him to heaven. This woman is so cruel. She killed 2 men in 3 strikes and 5 strikes. It's very possible to say that if you want to blame it, it's your evidence that shouldn't have appeared today. After that, he took office and went on the road, and he came out warmly. I was discovered by a Xiaojie as soon as I left the house. Then he ordered to lower the level, and went to chase him. Mizu ran for 20 kilometers, and continued to stop. Speaking of promotion, that damn smelly duck had actually drugged his own sister. At this moment, the people behind, and Putter, the heroine looked back and saw that it was Jun Ruo, a joint detective. Second Miss Jun Ruolian looked at him with a sneer, and then said, killing Jun Wuyen has many advantages. After hearing the command, these golden lights came out of the tail seal, and they all thought of him. Shui heard that they could not see Yunfei, so he desperately chased after them. The heroine Zhen Huang is so blind that she sells her belly and feels lonely. These are considered to be extremely fast, and in a blink of an eye they are fast enough to catch up with the heroine. Dare not let go of the line with the master and run away desperately. After running for a while, he froze. There is a cliff ahead. There is no way to escape now. Make a circle slightly forward and crush it immediately. Looking at this abyss, Master Yu felt a little determined. At this time, the second young lady had already caught up with her and sneered. Jun Wuyan said, this young lady is usually so petty, but today you will be lucky. The heroine was also uncomfortable and said loudly, Jun Ruolian, even the common people want to kill me. What you are most curious about is that if I don't die today, your death will come when the ghost comes. Jun Ruolian is so angry. What are you waiting for? Kill her for me. After saying that, everyone went crazy and came up, afraid of late grinding. The heroine is calm, as if she has made a huge determination. Extension point air foot room. Promotion of dancing in January. Jun Ruolian said angrily, this damn girl dared to jump down. As the heroine was falling, she sighed, I'm sorry. This little girl with such a body, can I avenge you? It depends on whether this video is good or not. Good guy plays this original version and dances as a motive. Not dead, she unexpectedly did a set of radio gymnastics with a man, which relieved her body of aphrodisiac. The matter started an hour ago. An hour ago, the Feather Master was hunted down by level 2. Learn to dance without difficulty. As I was falling, I was still thinking about it. I have just traveled through time, and am about to die on the first day. Suddenly your hand hugged his little friend. The heroine Dajin opened her eyes and asked, who are you? The man didn't answer and kept closing his eyes. Yu Zhuzi was so cold that his shooting rate was even higher. I couldn't help but feel spring-like. The two hugged each other and hurriedly. Bani song yuziaxiashi. It is sinking continuously. The cold water of the river makes the two explode more gently. The heroine is looking at a man. Why does this man always have to pay attention? Is he also injured? Suddenly the man opened his mouth and said, I'm sorry. I saw your body today. I will definitely fulfill your wish in the future. This is really a bit unique. And it won't be tolerated in the water. After saying that, he immediately stabilized Yuzu. Yuzu had already been drugged, so he didn't have a room. Men, don't listen, don't talk, tell the fans that they are here. The Feathermaster was warmed by my breath, and said 3 ideas intermittently. Then the two of them watched the process in the water. The moon is in the sky and complements everything. After a great battle, men will not marry their spouses directly. The heroine let out a big breath. This will finally pass. Then ran to the river. Ba Jin was killed with a lock. Jin was killed by Aiken. Looking at himself in the water, he said, original owner of the body, I didn't expect you to be cultivated by your family this time. Don't worry, I'm an elite military yin. Since I have traveled through time in your body, I will definitely avenge you. Jun Ruolian, I must marry you for my life. After cleaning, he came over and looked like a man. Di Gudao, this is considered a one-night stand. This is what you call the future. Finally, he turned around and left, saying to his left side that the kindness you have given me in saving my life cannot be offset. Early morning, the heroine returns to officialdom. At this time, there were 2 people looking at his relaxing courtyard. It turned out that the eldest lady and the second lady sent someone to do it. The eldest lady said, the little good-for-nothing's parents will not forget to become him even after they die. Shuran also left him such a nice casual yard. The second miss has received the news that the city has been closed. The eldest sister, that piece of trash, has already jumped 10,000 feet away, and is probably shattered into pieces. Haqingzhong courtyard is yours now. Then take a look at what happened between me and His Highness the Crown Prince. Hong Hong's voice gate was checked. The young lady said, second sister, don't worry. It was a mistake for His Highness the Crown Prince to make a useless engagement. I will definitely give you my best wishes and make His Highness the Crown Prince your first choice. Then the two of them changed into that household and started blowing. At this moment, the heroine couldn't step in. He said loudly, I don't know when my things became your twos. Great economy for 2 people. Said at the same time, this is impossible. Why didn't you die? The heroine shouted, John Ruolian, I'm back. The second young lady went to a lot of places, and hid directly behind the eldest sister. But the eldest lady said in disbelief, little waste, what will happen even if you come back? My words from this lady are enough to send your brother-in-law out. Is the heroine so cold and hateful? You can try it. Get up after talking about the unconventional miss. He grabbed him directly by the neck. The eldest lady's eyes were as bright as a cow. Those men are shouting for help. Partial lock under pressure relief on the side. The heroine grabbed the eldest lady's neck and picked it up. The second lady, he said to the side, Zhang Wuyan, are you crazy? Don't let go quickly. He said so, but in his heart he wished that the heroine would blind the eldest lady to death. Both sides would be greatly injured. She is good at receiving and warming. That's right. I'm crazy. I came here specifically to seek revenge from you today. He was so frightened that he was hit with a few random palms in the various rooms. Then Yangzhuan has already moved to a hotel. At this moment, the second young lady has been thinking about how to get wet. Finally, she still feels that the eldest young lady cannot die yet. So I would only lead my servants to come forward to rescue the eldest lady. Who is this heroine who still retains the fighting skills of the special forces in her previous life? She can take away the family who came forward with just one kick. These skewers are turned upside down. Then without the eldest lady, she hit the big mouth and took off directly on the spot. Guangzhang fell into pieces all his life. The heroine didn't even look back. Turn your head and look at the second part of the photo. The smile that changed was taken away, and the news gradually became more urgent, almost disrespectful in the second section. Just turn your head randomly. The heroine has a few strange penises. He grabbed the second lady's arm. Now it's you angled, that's right, isn't it? I'm not worthy anyway, give this boss. The second lady's 30-year-old ass and Dottie came to have a manager take over the business. He fell silent and threw the bag away. The heroine doesn't give her the chance to become a legend. He sat directly on the second lady, strangled her neck, and said loudly, if you move again, I will break your neck. The second young lady Jin Huang said, you dare to touch me. The heroine told her 2 mothers, you dare to kill me, why don't I dare to move? Do you still remember what I said? If I come back alive, I will kill you. The right hand of the bureau attendant will be deleted. Next, then the second young lady will close her eyes and die in 10 rare cases. At this moment, a voice came from outside the door. Stop, what are you doing? It turned out that it was the head butler of the Jun family, who was making trouble. The resident stopped and looked out the door. It can be seen that this butler is not troublesome, and is not his opponent yet. Then Yashuan ran up and complained, saying that the heroine was divided into green and red for white reasons. So he made the eldest lady, and the second lady Wang first class. The butler suddenly looked ahead, and asked in a cold voice, really? The heroine Dajin, listening to all this, there is something wrong with her. He slapped Yawan directly and said, what a piece of shit on your rice. The old man said, no matter how inferior the third young lady is, she is still a young lady from the Jun family. Please use these scary things like yours to cause such trouble. I will deal with you next time, when you return home. The heroine Yael, this plot is different from what I imagined. At this time, he also let go and pinched the second lady's hand. It seems that it is not so easy to kill this one today. The eldest housekeeper received the order from Mrs. Bao, telling the eldest and second young ladies to go to Shufang immediately and explain something. The two stood up in perfect alliance and patted the butterflies on their hands. He said with a silver face, then he will follow the butler out of the door. The heroine suddenly called the housekeeper, look at my Qingfenjuan. Does it need someone to take care of it, especially some of the culprits? Since after hearing this, his face became even uglier. The butler tilted his head slightly and said, Hongshin, please stay and clean the yard for the third lady. You are not allowed to demonstrate until it is clean. I need to change my baby's slightly nodding belt. After everyone left, the heroine looked at Wen Shen, who was nervous. Say, come back to me after cleaning up. You can only leave after I agree. Do you understand? Precious Switcher nodded hurriedly and said yes. I have been afraid of living for a lifetime, so I have to close the door and go back to my house. The room looks spacious and elegant. The heroine was tired after a long day, so she lay down on the bed to relax. Squeeze your eyes and enjoy the closeness of this moment. Just as I was about to fall asleep, I suddenly said, congratulations to Master Su for starting the system store opening mode. Directly make the heroine's eyes look bigger. Who is talking anymore? Get out of here. I looked around the room and didn't find anything. Randomly found the same thing that appeared on my chest. The moving light group flying out from the evil money is gradually taking shape. Then it changed into a cute grassy one. Your lord is speechless. What kind of action is this? The random kitten said, congratulations to the master for starting the point mode. Based on today's performance, you can get 300 cool points. Because of your excellent performance, Vale Sen will give you 50 points, totaling 350 cool points. Your little cutie will be happy with 888. My girlfriend's belly is full of pussy, cute little 38, what's going on? But he looks so busy. My little bag was poked so hard that I resisted with all my strength. Please respect yourself. Then he explained that because the system store has already made a soul guarantee with you, if you need anything, just communicate directly with Wuyun and don't touch anything. The heroine is hiding something from her mind. What is soul binding? Why are you in my body? My appearance in this world is related to you. Please explain it clearly to me. Xiao Mao said that you were selected by the system. In the original world, you were already dead. It was I who cast your soul into this world. The rest is up to you to survive through your own efforts. The face slap system has been turned on. Every time you slap the face, you will get balm. The balm can be used to exchange life for water in the store to grant life. Ask one of the heroines, are you sure you are not lying to me? Mao Mao can say for sure that the system capacity has determined the coexistence of life and death. Even if you die, you will still be there next year. The heroine said it with her waist in her arms. I believe it for the time being. By the way, who are you? 3 little cuties, what kind of action is the statement you just made? The kitten is furious, don't. 2018 puncture. I need to teach my dad how to do it. If you don't say anything, you still have 10 days to live. Please give us enough water within 10 days to match the life of the ring. Exchange 1,000 points for a bottle. Each bottle can extend your life for 1 month. You have to act quickly. I only have 10 days left and I need 1,000 points to replace it. Then he said to Xiaobang, okay, I understand, you can go back and I will call you Shio if something happens. After saying that, the little hairy words caught up and polished the female subject's face. Then the female team leader said, lying on the bed, I muttered to myself, I can't survive in this world without a slap in the face. What kind of world is this? The heroine just lay down and started drinking. Just meet the original owner of Meng Zong. The original owner first thanked the heroine for avenging her, then tell the heroine that she came to Xuanwu continent. This is a time when the abilities of men and women are distinct. The heroine Yi Hu talks about the election in mainland China. What does it mean to have distinct abilities between men and women? The original owner explained that here, men are born with blood power. They can become powerful players through training. I'm looking for a fake country, Yang Mingluan, and women are born with the magical power of gold. Although women cannot make themselves stronger by cultivating the divine power of gold, the men in this world need women the most and are also the most dependent on women, because the melody of a man is a dual sword, and controlling this dual sword requires your spirit. So if a woman is born without mental strength, she will be disgusted all over again. He will be called a loser by everyone just like me. To close the blue, the original owner kept pumping. Finally, he said to Yuzhu, "You are a good person, the only good person I have met in my life. Thank you for avenging Wu Yang." What else does the heroine want to say? I only heard a goodbye. Then it went on. The heroine is very nervous and tries to survive this cruel incident. This is her only goal. We must guard against Zheng Ruoxue and Zheng Ruolian from continuing to harm us. It seemed that he still had to find someone to monitor them for him. He randomly looked at No Wise Red Sex. After eating, opened the door and asked Hongxin to prepare hot water for herself to take a bath. Hongxin was feeling relieved, but she was thinking, "You loser, you really think of yourself as a young lady. I will burn you to death if I don't heat up the hot water." Add hot water at the end. He also actively wanted to help the heroine take photos of her clothes. The character wants to see if the heroine has been defiled by the two previous expectations. If it is found that the heroine is not that deep, you can use the eldest lady's waist skills. Place small pieces of wood randomly. I am going to pull it apart. See what's going on in the heroine's clothes. The heroine reacted quickly and immediately grabbed the hand that was slowing her down. Then he said, "I have noticed your little spirit a long time ago, and you hurriedly changed your feet under the pressure. Third miss, please let go of Nu Bien. Didn't you ask Nu Bai to assassinate you? Master you. What I said coldly is what I said, but before that, I won't worry until you eat something good. Don't wait for the reaction of the pressure ring. Just kick the pressure ring again. Then take out the real medicine and prepare it. Directly use the isolation plug to press the world into a squirting statue. Put the fat of Yaguang Henghe in it. Everyone just thinks that my sister-in-law is fine. I accidentally chanted and swallowed the medicine directly, and then the golden color was. Go ahead and paint something on it. Turns out it's over." Then he asked the hostess angrily, "What did I eat just now?" The heroine puts her hands on her waist Maru and. So this says two words, mainly. Develop the soul sound of soul immediately. Then your stomach starts to cause pain on your left side. Warm up, continuously deleting. All my life, I will beg for mercy at the feet of the heroine, and exhale and say, "Miss Third, my efforts were wrong. Please find an antidote here. There is no need to want to die." Another word, the heroine kicked her mercilessly. Then turn around the trendy chair. A group of drummers sat down, beat Erlang's legs and said, "You can look like you are admitting your mistakes if you admit them." Slowly raised his head to look at the little heroine. Then he put up his face in a crawling manner. There is no need to copy the sky and the earth. There is no need to do so. Let's start. I don't dare to offend the third lady. There's no need to be so direct in front of the third lady. The heroine saw that she was quite fast, so she said, "Okay, I want to solve it. The premise is that you will help me monitor the soldiers entering the water. Do you understand?" Jia Huan was really scared and nodded quickly. "Tang Xiu, the heroine is so cold and hateful, that's right. Hit back and pop up a medicine bowl." No, this reading of the trial drama requires a monthly service to cure the antidote. It takes 3 months to fully cure it. Keep an eye on me honestly, otherwise I can't guarantee that you'll still have the antidote next month. Then change the alliance and nod to tell the truth. The heroine was quietly soaking in the fish tank when she suddenly remembered that she had a fight with the man in Moshang 3 days ago until night, but no safety measures were taken. There is some taint in my heart. Is this going to be a rebidding? Thinking of this, your main force will force you to go over. How can this be done? You won't even know who the father is by then. You'd better find a way to go to Chengdu to see if there are any herbs to prevent double bids. At this time, in the study of Zhu and Jia Dayo, Zun Ruoxuang's cryptic inquiry, how could the king of war be looking for military material? The old man of the Jun family said, to be precise, the King of War is looking for a woman named Jun Wuyen. As for our army, Wuyen has never even left Wancheng. Naturally, it cannot be that name. Shu Yunruoxu breathed a sigh of relief after hearing this. Random question to the guide. Why does the King of War want to find a woman named Jun Wuyen? Her name is the same as hers. The old man returned. A few days ago, the War King's training palace went crazy. The two martial arts masters later miraculously recovered, which means that someone must have performed a mental test on him. Jun Ruolian also suddenly interjected and said, so she found a woman named Jun Wuyen, explaining that this woman used to be her calligrapher. But she was not seen by the public at that time. The old man said that the reason why the King of War spent so much time searching for a woman must be because he wanted her to become his spiritual power. Ruo Shue. This is officially a good opportunity for you. Do you understand? As expected, Jun Ruo Shue had eaten too little for the six-pack. She didn't understand the meaning of the old man's words at all, and even asked what to do. Such an excellent prince. Only I can become his princess. The Jun Kuo company next to me felt very worried. The old man stopped the pen in his hand. Speaking of which, isn't he looking for Jun Wuyen's woman? We happen to have one at home. Before the old man finished speaking, Jun Ruo Shue said excitedly, Grandpa, don't you really want that waste to go? How can you do that? Jin Ruolian was standing by to compare. Jin Ruozhu, you are really pure. If my mental strength wasn't one step lower than yours, how could I have given up all the resources? Then he pretended to be fresh and explained to Jun Ruo Shue, everyone, you have misunderstood what Grandpa meant. Grandpa wants you to pretend to be Jun Wuyen to see the King of War. The old man said with a smile, just go to the capital, and the remaining Grandpa will take care of everything for you. All those with weak blood feel happy after hearing this. Go back and pack your luggage immediately. Then the old man asked Ruolian, do you like the prince? If Lian comes back, what will happen if he likes her? The prince is already involved with Jun Wuyen. The old man said that Wu Yang's parents were both geniuses at that time. The country was moved by love, so it was normal for them to decide on a marriage contract. But your parents were moved by the fact that they didn't even have the right to meet the Holy One. When Jun Ruolian was dissatisfied, didn't they give birth to a good-for-nothing daughter named Jun Wuyen? The old man said comfortingly, although your mental strength is not as good as Lu Rui's, Grandpa hopes that you will all have a good time and come back. Jun Ruoran doesn't know how to deal with people. Then he excitedly said loudly, thank you, Master Chengquan. And the heroine didn't know that her identity was about to be replaced. The big housekeeper suddenly came here, and said that the prince was visiting the military family today. The old lady also asked the heroine to come and see the prince. The heroine didn't ask any more questions and just replied, let's go. But she knew in her heart that she was well prepared. Soon we arrived at the military hall. Most of the heroines enter the door. I think I have no money. The time hall is already full of people. Everyone important in the family has gathered here. Jun Ruolian said angrily, look who is here. The uncle looked like a villain and said that Jun Wuyen was scolding us for a tip of 500. The second wave of psychology also pays per word, and it is this fee again. It is an insult to our military family to appear on this occasion. The heroine ignored them and looked at the box. Everyone in the center looked dumbfounded at the sight of the South. I am afraid this is the fiancé of the original owner. Geographical style. Random attack and defense. Greetings. Grandpa, do you have anything to do with Wuyen? The old man adapts his skills and is speechless. Come and meet His Highness the Crown Prince. The heroine raised her head and said, it turns out that this is His Highness the Crown Prince. Wu Yang is rude. I am protecting His Highness the Crown Prince. Are you here today to make an appointment with Wu Yang's Na Cheng? The prince keeps his head down here, keeping his thoughts private. This army is a speechless waste with no mental power. In the future, he will be shut up and repaired to support his face. It's better to listen to Mr. Jun, break off the engagement with Jun Wuyen, and take Jun Ruolian. This Jun Ruolian has the shadow of a 6th level spirit, and he looks even more like I've seen Yulian. There's no better time to be the crown princess. After that, he said, Jun Wuyen, this prince is indeed here for that engagement, but he did come to break off the engagement with you. A good for nothing, for the sake of the Jun family's sake. This Jiuxin Dan will be used as compensation for the prince to break off the engagement. Jun Ruolian, who was standing next to him, was overjoyed after hearing this. His Highness the Crown Prince finally broke off his engagement with this loser. As expected. The Crown Prince and I are 200. The heroine sneered and said, Humph, I can't help but feel lonely for a long time. It turns out that my life is so false. After hearing this, the prince was stunned. What are you talking about? This 9-star single. But the 5-star university is a training system. It can not only increase the number of beauties, but also extend the appointment for more than 3 years. It is enough not to last a long time. The hostess said without thanks, I'm going to kill a loser. What else can I say? Didn't you already discuss it, Your Highness the Crown Prince? The prince hides his face from passers-by and says that the army is speechless. You should find out. Now you have no choice. After saying that, he asked the eunuch next to him to take away the single medicine. Tai Jian walked up to the heroine and said, Miss Jun-san, take it. The old man also said, Wu Yan, just accept it. It's good for you, His Royal Highness, and everyone. Everyone next to me is also trying to explain why. Just accept it. It is a great blessing for you to have such an expensive medicine. We don't even want it anymore. The heroine has been disappointed with this family. She is such a good protector of Qingqing. How Da is also the grandfather of the original owner. He actually talks about other granddaughters so much. Don't think that Qingqing is so kind. The military weak company next to me hurriedly received it from Shanfeng Lianhua. Third sister, just accept it. If you think it's not enough, sister will give you other compensation in private. Okay, the heroine suddenly burst into laughter. It was so funny. It was so funny. Zhang Ruolian was a little shocked by the Lord's performance at this time. Zhang Wuyan, are you crazy? Is this military family named Zhang or Zhang? You are forcing your own young lady like this for an outsider. Even if I'm a loser, I still trust you, second sister. Touch your conscience and ask, are you still interested? Zhang Ruolian heard He Hongzhong say, Wu Yang, how can you say this to me? Even if your engagement is annulled, I am still your second sister. Damn it, Master, you replied indifferently, really? Ask yourself whether you are a sister or a murderer. The employee was shocked after hearing this. What does murderer mean? Zhanruo Lianlian capital has undergone a major change. Do you have to pay for what you have done? The heroine talks directly to the heroine. It seems like what the old man on the main page said. I called you Lianlian because you were the father who hurt you the most. And now Wu Yan's parents are missing, and Wu Yan is a stranger in the military family and is being treated like this by you. Aren't you afraid that your son will be cruel if he finds out? I'm going to have a drink, but I can't get enough of it. The heroine, who was born on the ground, just threw it away. The prince was shocked by his behavior. The heroine, a police officer, touched something in her mouth. Then he took out a book and received it. His Royal Highness. Do you think you can really break off this engagement if you want to break it off? Have you obtained the consent of the Emperor and the Empress? Have you obtained the consent of your parents? I saw the heroine holding a book of 7 engagements for the contestants, and then continued, if you didn't get the consent of any of them, then this engagement was not yours to decide from the beginning. Finished, the heroine turned around and walked toward the door. When he walked to the gate, he called out July 15th and then said, it only counts if I say it. The prince got up in anger and said angrily. Zhang Wuyan said to let him die. Master Yu turned around and said something. This engagement is about to break off. Zhang Wuyan wants to break off the engagement. Wedding letter keepsakes. Those who have left the faction, I will go back. Our army is speechless today. This is not a sign. Goodbye. I am not. I will never see you again. Everyone in the lobby knows each other, and Tongji seems to be wise when he talks seriously. That Fei Wu actually dared to be told by the prince to break off the engagement. The uncle also returned. Is this still the same little Fei Wu Jun Wu Yang from Weiwei Nuo? It feels like he has changed. Prince Yao Yue said sincerely, well, your army is speechless. Your father and mother actually gave you this key decision-making power, and even made the July hand. Who is their biological child? Why should the decision-making power of this agreement be given to a feeble person? Then he said loudly to the old man, Jun, my God, your Jun family are really capable. See for yourself. Waiting for the eunuch to take care of my aunt. Zhang Ruolian was stunned. Did the prince just leave like this? Then he and I are my benefactors. Then Erbo complained to the old man about the heroine's story, and said that he should have given the soul jade to his daughter Zhang Ruolian. The old man said to his second uncle, because you are so useless as a father. If you and the eldest brother are half as capable as the third uncle, you don't have to worry so much as a father. The second uncle returned the game without thanking him. No matter how powerful he is still dead. What's the use of losing his life? The old man was furious. What did you say? I'm sweating coldly after my second stroke. It's my own fault that I'm a white rat. Later, the old man asked Jun Rawlian what happened to the murderer that he had just mentioned silently. Jun Rawlian shuddered even more and quickly said that it was nothing but nonsense. Erbor interrupted, Father, how can you believe what that loser said? He must have been divorced and what he said was random. The old man is so angry that he shuts up and collects your thoughts. The surname of this Jun family is Jun, not Jien. Even if you marry a soldier, you still believe in the army. Then he walked out with his hands behind his back and asked Jun Rawlian to go to the study. Even the weak and powerful wagging teeth cut finely knew. Being docked by the heroine again. Congratulations and wish you success. Which word should you type? Based on your very domineering performance today, you can earn 1000 cool quality points. Since you did not use a plugin, you will gain an additional 50 calendar points. A total of 1050 calendar points, and an account balance of 1400 cool quality points. Foolish transfer. Click the lock, it's good, the reward is really generous. I have to say that this slap in the face scene of breaking off the engagement is really exciting. The plane asked, can I exchange for the life potion now? Xiaobang said, of course. My ping life potion in the system mall received 1000 finger points. Please let me know if you want to talk to me. If you don't have the courage to agree with the Lord, just go to Hugh. Directly, the kitten cast a grey magic, moved to the beam and flew out. A bottle of potion appeared, and the heroine appeared to change her tactics. The heroine said with emotion. This is really a magical world. 2 words, just cry, 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 I want your voice. I read it, it's so cool that I haven't arrived yet. Now I have 1 month more life. Xiaobao replied, of course, meow. Master, would you like to take a look at the other treasures? The heroine touched her chin and asked, what kind of baby can I buy with the remaining 400 cool points? Cute little Sanba, hey, judging from your current situation, what you need most now is of course intensive cultivation. The heroine is shocked. What is intensive cultivation, Xuanli or spiritual power? Don't fight. It's not about this world. Xuanli is cultivated by men, but women's spiritual power cannot be cultivated. Xiao Mao shook his finger and said, the reason they say women's mental power cannot be cultivated is because no one in this world has developed a method to cultivate mental power. Our system is omnipotent. As long as you can't think of it, there is nothing we can't do. The heroine said half-heartedly, are you sure I can really practice with this high spiritual level? Of course, the old cat can be bought after it has been disintegrated. As long as the owner feels comfortable spending that amount, he can buy it. The heroine asked in a low voice how much pleasure she had. Li Limao's eyes suddenly lit up, and he posted Bala's statement. He didn't want 1800 or 998, he just wanted 49.99. He couldn't buy a loss and he couldn't buy a funeral. It was really worth the money, meow meow. The housewife queen is so angry that she is so angry, my dear, you know I only have 400 hours, why don't you sell me 499? Now I just want to buy a 40-meter sword to charge. The kitten laid it, so the owner has to be very hurt and don't do anything. Then came the price tag. The owner said 288, Xiao Mao said 450, no more. The owner said 300, and Xiao Mao said 430. This is already a meat rack. The heroine directly said 388. If you continue to talk nonsense, I won't buy it. The kitten bows down and comes, 388, just 388. Master, you are really not cute at all. After the switch, the heroine still has some strength. It turns out that she really has the spiritual power to cultivate. Then read the new copy. At this time, there was an old man standing on the stage of constant concern. Listen to Hushu and look at the sky. Otherwise, the sky will appear as if winter is coming carefully. After working hard for a lot of money, my heart changed and I was determined to make it real. This day is going to change. What alien message? What the doctor said is true. Speaking of state affairs, the Emperor's holy grace is so big. The sky is like ours. This alien star can only be the star of the Holy Ming. The Emperor's knees, Shengyu's heart. The weather is booming again. I must find Shengyu. Come to Zheng. Shengyu's heart has captured my taste of the East. Your Majesty can narrow down the search scope. Okay, let's just follow the defeat of the National Master's uncle. After defrauding the customer, the Taijian General Officer and Soldier report has been received. Your Majesty, the King of War came to pay for his money a few days ago. Do you want the King of War to go look for Sheng Guo? The Emperor's wife thought this was a good idea, so she ordered the King of War to come to the palace for business. Someone asked me recently, where has the prince been recently? He hasn't seen anyone else. The chief eunuch has returned. Has your Majesty forgotten that 3 days ago? His Majesty the Prince asked you to go to Wanqing with your teacher. Is it completed? Is that the place where the heart of the holy word that I just talked about will land? Manager Hai Jian said, buckle it tight and don't step on it. The Jun family is also opening late. Hearing what Chief Tai Sword said, the Emperor suddenly remembered that the prince's boy seemed to want to take a look at his stick aura. Then he recalled Jun Wuyen's parents. It's been 15 years now and their children have grown up. It's better for the prince to go and see him this time. If the two of them can see each other in the eyes, they won't exchange their original engagement with Zhen. There are too many 100 years of this great victory. It's just a pity that if it weren't for this 100-camp victory, the couple wouldn't have to sacrifice themselves. In the blink of an eye, the warship is completed. The heroine is still studying intensive spiritual cultivation, and there seems to be nothing exciting about it. I don't know which step went wrong in grabbing the 2 sword plugs. After all, I am also an elite from time travel. Why can't I even do the most basic Ming Shen? In the end, I had no choice but to ask System Kitten for help. The kitten just twisted and threw it and said angrily, I don't have a dedicated Xuanji today, and I don't want to deal with you now. The heroine can only put down her attitude and go to the red kitten. Little darling, don't I, Zhongguli, still have 12 o'clock to enjoy? How about using it to make up for your injured point? When Xiaomao heard this, his eyes lit up, so I'm not polite to describe it. I only heard Ding Dong's voice and the heroine's account was directly collected. Then he explained to the heroine that although you were in the Junie profession in your previous life, and had good mental power, you have now traveled into this body without mental power. Your mental power has been blocked, so naturally there is no way to escape. Am I Zhu Huangren? Then what should I do to break that barrier and release my own spiritual power? I want to bring you back. Are you uniformly dressed? There are many medicinal herbs in this world that can release spiritual power. The intensive refining of medicinal herbs is available in this system. More. The master should understand what to do next. Suddenly the shop rose to the north and the door was opened. Thinking of returning to the body of a female subject after death. A place to hold the small fish in a slow place. In the early stage, I received grade 3. This is your dinner. You can still try it on the Chinese server. It seems that I have to do some Jingshuang pool again. Miss Japan, go away. Why can't Ms. Jun from Better TV be used here? Just where the fish was holding a box of leftover rice. The feather master said coldly, let this lady be like this. Yashuan said in surprise, is it possible, Miss 3, that you still want to eat in the vestibule? The feather master said without thanks, why, this lady can't go. Yi Huan said with unabashed ridicule, Miss 3rd, I have nothing to do with you. I'm a rude slave. I saved you for being such a spiritless waste. You are worse than an ordinary person. Your engagement was cancelled by His Highness. Why do you still want to have dinner together? Tell me, open your head and spread your hair. The heroine only saw a few green vegetables and white rice. Here we go, this is my dinner. Yahuan Woody smiles, otherwise it's still for dogs to eat. Just turn around and call away. Don't forget to say a few words before leaving the money. 3rd Miss, listen to this slave's advice. You are not as good as us slaves now. Eat well and don't go to the vestibule. Otherwise, the eldest and second ladies will make you look good. How can the heroine endure a scary person with the power of 5 yangs in this medicine? With a swipe sound, grab the pressing hand directly. He leaned close to the maid's ear and whispered, then you can take a good look at me. Our army has no words to ask you to go to dinner the day before yesterday. Walk. Instead of throwing it away, Jinshuan directly threw a piece of shit. In my heart, the heroine still feels like this trash. Let's see how Miss and the others pinch you out later. Walking into Xing'er compound in a blink of an eye. The important people of the Jun family were enjoying their meal happily. The eldest lady's actual cyber army is like adding bonus to the blood bowl, let him eat more. Jun Ruoshue's face turned red, and she said that she had been silent for almost 2,000 years. The uncle was also trying to please the old man. Xu Wen's own daughter took the place of Jun Wuyang was confident that it would be no problem. The old man reassured him that everything was ready. At this moment, a scene from the play, 3 Little Punches, was heard outside the door. You can't go in. The old lady and the others are doing your good deeds. Everyone looked outside the small door. The mistress just pushed the door open and walked in. Get out of my way, blind slave. Then he greeted everyone with a smile. Grandpa, my father, my mother, my sisters, good evening. Jun Ruoshue said loudly. Jun Wuyen, what are you doing here? The owner said firmly, Sister, aren't you asking nonsense? Of course you are here to do good things. Jun Ruoshue is furious. Get out of here quickly. You see, a loser really wants to do something wrong. What are you doing? Why don't you hit the red line and get out? I'm here to love you. This time, Reningbu tried to seize democracy, but was arrested by the heroine personally. Democracy is on the verge of taking a breather. Let's fly this man-machine to the end. It's a great education. Bing Ruoshue must have been shocked by the heroine's move, but she still pretended to be shocked and said, Jun Wuyen, let him die. Master Yu was too lazy to pay attention to him. He looked at the old man and said, Grandpa, I went to Wu Yanhouda, who is also the third lady of the Jun family. No one asked me to come here to show my kindness. I just came to have dinner with my family to be solemn. So this old man looks at the big country next to him. The big pot had no choice, but to greet Wu Yan reluctantly. Come sit down and eat with everyone. Jun Ruoshue's real temperament. Dad, what are you doing? How can he sit and eat with us? The uncle pretended to be so angry that Cheng He picked his head and screamed loudly. Let's make dinner quickly. Jun Weishue had no choice, but to behave in a convincing way. I can use good fire. Uncle said with eyes, sit down. You used to refuse to come to the front to eat, so I didn't teach you. Now I don't know what you think about Gong. The heroine smiled and said nothing, but she knew in her heart that she was scolding herself in a roundabout way. Look at how I slap her in the face. After sitting down, the heroine spoke. Could it be that the uncle had forgotten that it was the eldest sister and the second sister who came to Qingfenjuan and said to me that our army is not a member of the military family, and they will not accompany us to dinner? I thought it was Grandpa's intention at first, so I didn't dare to disobey. I was too scared. The old man's hand holding the teacup slammed on the table. Why didn't I know that I had never given such an order? General, where is the general discussion with the weak company on the spot? Ruoxuruolian, please explain to me when this happened. The two of them are fighting again. It's not good. What should I do if I eat it? Follow up. What the hell is going on? Come and explain to me. Group humiliation. Lian Jabang said with his hands, I'm sorry, yeah, we were just joking with the three of us. I didn't expect him to take it seriously. Jun Weishue said unconvinced, what are you afraid of, Jun Weishue? The eldest aunt was also advising Jun Ruoshue to ask for an apology. Ruoshue, how could you make such a joke? Come on, there is no apology. Grandpa is still watching. Jun Ruoshue and Deng Die have also said the same. I, the eldest lady of the Jun family of Tang Tang, the most outstanding genius of the Jun family, how can I apologize to this waste? The eldest aunt grasped Jun Weishue's hand and whispered, if you don't want to suffer the loss, please apologize to your sister for the time being. Is it possible that you want Grandpa to punish you personally? The weak soldiers in front of you may be punished by Grandpa. If you hear this, low-class people like them. Grab Ding Sheng, stand up and click on the pre-order to apologize. I'm sorry, Sanmai. I was just ignorant in the past. I will never make such a joke with you again. Please forgive me. The heroine returned casually. What did the second sister say? It was just a joke. Although it has a great impact on me, I can still forgive you. He dragged it down randomly with one hand. He looked like Jun's Wei Fanning said. As long as you owe me a good debt, our army can still generously forgive some of my people. You think so, sister? Jun Ruoshue and Shi Gugu turned around and said, I'm sorry. The heroine couldn't help but eat it. Okay, we are all a family. Why should we be so serious? I didn't take it to heart before. Otherwise I wouldn't have come over tonight to use kindness. Go and have more fun. Shinruo Shue is still very good at playing the piano. I will let you be proud of yourself tonight, but sooner or later you will regret it. Otherwise, the heroine's eyes will light up. I found out how my mother's Shwazi was in the possession of Jun Ruo Lian's mother. Could it be that Jun Ruo Lian and the others also stole things from my yard? The plane is moving with zero light. It looks like we can have some fun again tonight, right? For example, the old man with a pitiful look said, Grandpa, my eldest sister and my second sister, who is nationality, borrowed a lot of my parents' things from my yard a few days ago. And I still have no plans. Weakened, mother and daughter were shocked at the same time. Oh no, they were discovered. The fan added randomly, just now I saw was wooden hand holding my mother's joisie, which suddenly aroused my longing for my mother. I don't know when the two sisters can return my parents' things. The second mother, Huang Zhong, stood up and said, who said this is something from the early morning. I also have a kind of Zhua clan, don't I? The second boss is also there to help. Who said this is the belongings of the third family? Guo Ruolian did not steal anything from your family. Military affairs exercise. Stop talking nonsense here. Pa pen sound. The old man slapped the table hard. You are so impudent. Please sit down more. Two random people sat down with dark faces, not daring to say anything. Jun Ruolian also dared to grow up. Why did he have such mentally retarded parents? Such an obvious demonstration. Was he afraid that Grandpa would not know the truth? The old man was furious. Okay, you guys are treating this as if I don't exist. I'm not dead yet. You can continue to divide the things of the third family. It's not your turn to be the master of the military family. I wish you happy hands and thank you Grandpa. Then Wu Yang will go back to sort out the items and give the list to Dabao. In 3 days, I hope to see all the things that have been taken away. You can find a way to reverse the missing things. Afterwards, the old man immediately called Jun Ruolian to talk to Jun Ruoxue's study room. What else does Jun Ruoxue want to say? The old Tanyi was furious and came here immediately. Jun Ruoxue could only look helplessly, but the heroine calmly drank tea. Jun Ruolian has not forgotten the dangerous heroine before 09. You don't have to be proud. Let's wait and see. I didn't kill you last time. I don't believe you can still have 9 noodles. I stood up, but Shan said that if you have the ability, just come. I'll see if you kill me first or I kill you first. I made a mistake. There was a snapping sound in the study room. Grandpa, stop fighting. We know we were wrong. It turns out that if the army enters the blood and the army enters the face, it is a normal punishment for the old man. The old man said with a smile, I don't care what disputes there are between you sisters, but there should be a bottom line when doing things. I can pretend that I don't see anything. And some things should be ignored, otherwise I will be embarrassed. But my Jun family's face makes others laugh at me. The Jun family does not get along. Sister Liang's palms were swollen red after being beaten, and she breathed and agreed. The old man was also a little distressed. He sent them back with nothing, and even sent his servants to put ointment on them. Liang Enyu also stopped crying and stretched out her hand to come. Quietly walked out of the study courtyard. As soon as Jun Ruoxue left the compound, her true identity was exposed. I must kill the person. Jun Ruolian was a little scared, but Grandpa warned us not to mess around. Jun Ruoxue is gloomy here. As long as you avoid it, if you don't say it, I won't say it. Who knows it was us? Jun Ruolian also let go of the fight and said, okay, then let him get 40 pounds. Heartbroken and willing, I want to know how to help the heroine get the fingers from today's face slap. I got a total of 3,500 fingers from today's face slap. Then the heroine came quickly. You, the host, are trying to get rid of me and ask me what's going on with this serial slap in the face. The kitten explained that every time you slap the other person in the face, the other person will be slapped in the face again because of you. This kind of face ring is the most satisfying. The heroine is overjoyed. It turns out that she can still be like this. Then hurry up and sell me the formula that can release your spiritual power. I want to put a cup in the hat mold, but I don't want the heroine to put it on the 7th floor. Then a system store appeared in front of you. Mao Mao immediately introduced that the trial order is too expensive. I won't introduce it to you. Now I recommend a super affordable trial order for you. You can take it home for only $29.99. Master Yu said with a big face, you are a top businessman, Xiao Sanshiba. I will give you another chance to reorganize members. Xiao Mang said with a guilty conscience. Oh, I almost forgot. Do I still have a discount circle? He, as long as the horse is $29.99, it can be $9,500. It is a super unbeatable discount. The heroine directly grabs the kerosene to make a circle. Go to the wax tribe and burn it down, but you have a lot of thoughts, little guy. Little kitty sisters jumping feet master, how can you burn the ashes? The heroine holds her 2 fingers to a maximum of 2,000. Don't leave me outside the camera. At this price you, the supervisor, will definitely make a difference. Xiaomang said guiltily, okay, it will be cheaper this time. The heroine smiled like a cat with a bouncy nose. It would have been fine if it had been like this earlier. I won't be able to bring you along if you follow me from now on. Help me, please go over here and take it. Even if I have a good price for you this time, it's not easy to get the right quality. After the transaction is over, the kitten is immediately returned to the female host. Before leaving, the female host is reminded that if there is one party, it is necessary to quickly find the supplier to participate. The Jade Master said excitedly, don't worry, I will find her as soon as possible. At this time, someone was knocking on the door. When he came, the red pressure ring was sent to me. Sister Xiao is the most miserable person. Not good. The eldest lady and the second lady are in danger. Just now, I suppressed the late night wind. The heroine avenges evil with both hands, but that can be said. You'd better have something important to compete with and bother me so late. Ya Huan said in a low voice. This servant overheard the conversation between the eldest lady and the second lady just now. Originally, the eldest lady was going to the capital tomorrow. But in order to deal with you, she took 2 days to go to the capital. The heroine of the ship didn't say anything, and the maid continued, the second lady has always been the most worried about death, and now she has joined forces with the eldest lady. The third lady must be careful. This calming surface hurts, showing a worried look. In fact, I was afraid that if the heroine passed away, no one would give her the antidote. Suddenly the heroine died, and she was too lazy to go. Democracy asked what the plan was to replace them, and why Jun Ruishue went to the capital. I suppressed myself and replied that I was just a scary person. I am not qualified to understand this kind of master. The master knocked on the table and said he was being beaten. I don't care what method you use. Go find out about these 2 things for me. Come back with the news tomorrow night in exchange for this month's jiang. I want to exchange for big gold. Think about how I can do it in such a short time. A cold voice asked, why can't you do it? Pressure replacement can only be done with a bit of grit. Then go down and don't let anyone find out you've been here. The momentum of the attack has subsided. Feeling gloomy and cool, son of Sun 03 Gongtai Ke convulsions and silence. The heroine was killed by such a ridiculous chef, just because Yagu didn't have the ingredients for the battery water elixir. Pig Tanti, wildflowers in the wilderness, there won't be any crazy people. The kitten said calmly, Master, your current ability is not enough to even face a few beasts. The master said weakly, that's not necessarily the case. The body has not yet fully adapted to the lung and abdominal fluid. 2 people come to the door to have a group. It's over, forget it, go to the mountain first. If you can't beat me, I'll use you as a party card. Kitty Geely will carry you. In the blink of an eye, I saw that I was hit, and I was sweating all over after stepping on half a kilogram. Mao Mao wants to trick you into buying e-rewards from the system mall for a week again. The owner came directly to report. Kitty Dajin, Master, why are you beating me? Master, you said angrily, you are a heartless person. I am not in the mood to buy your electric yarn now. I have to fill it up like crazy. How many times do I have to go into the mountains to find hooks to step on? Thinking of a cat for a day, showing a pointed smile, who hurriedly took out a pre-marriage bag and said, this is a space warehouse, just for you. The heroine is barely waist deep. Tell me, how much will you need this time? Xiao Mao received it with a guilty conscience. At this price, we can be hurt, right? At this time, we must have a chance to move the carriage in the same direction. One hand gently pushed open the curtain. A golden gate fell out inside. He's a hugely beautiful man. He looks like the heroine of UN2. Then he asked the coachman to stop. When the coachman arrived, what happened to the young master? The man said lightly, it's nothing. I just saw an interesting famous pearl, which made me unable to help, but show some sensitivity. Che Fu is a little surprised. In fact, the young master can become a democratic person. It is appropriate to submit to one's duties. Who is this woman? Does the young master need to find her? Directly, this attacker wants to be superficial and arrogant. It is unnecessary. We will meet again sooner or later. Then continue to take a taxi to Lanta. The heroine also heard the sound of buying a car. Looking down the mountain, I saw a carriage approaching. I was suddenly jumped when Xiao Mao spoke. I was distracted just now, and didn't listen to what was said at all. I took the small bag with the kitchen items and brought it in. This wonderful space warehouse is relatively expensive. The owner is too poor to afford it. But it can be used to make a refreshing plant at 25 o'clock a day. It's rare that the heroine didn't bargain this time and agreed directly. Then I looked at this. Only in the novel there is a hammer belt, Guan Xiaomao left and right. Xiaomao received it. The first step is to open the bag. The second step is to focus on your year and look at the things you want to put in. Finally, the items will be automatically received in the storage box. The heroine's eyes lit up and she said excitedly that this is really amazing. So I hung the pouch around my waist in a hurry, which makes it much more convenient to use. Then the bone came in and continued to ask for the night. Then you have arrived at Bangwang. The heroine has also found medicinal materials and is going back to practice fingerloading medicine. Walking on the street, I heard a few people gossiping. After listening carefully, it turned out that it was a man named Wushuangong who came to Wanchang. He was also a business genius. He came from the emperor's family and seemed to be a rich second generation. It's Wushuang. It sounds like a woman's name. This guy is a bit interesting. With a bang, a burst of explosions came from the heroine's room. It turns out that I was practicing single frying. I thought there must be a problem in some link. I randomly took out the practice sheet and looked at it carefully. At this time, Yi Chang came over with his nose bent, and he was suspicious in his heart. What is the third lady doing, making it so ugly? Go to the front of the room and shout loudly, Miss Third, the eldest lady wants you to go to the front yard for dinner. Whatever, Colonel, let's go to dinner, and make sure to go and enjoy the food carefully prepared for you by the eldest lady and the second lady. This is not going to die. But what he didn't expect was that the heroine was going to be in a single order tonight. So she just told him to fuck off and get eaten by her mood tonight. I had no choice but to do it, but my heart was hostile. If you don't want to eat, why did you go to the front hall to cause trouble last night? The virtuous heroine didn't come to dinner. She was so angry that she jumped up and down. This damn girl didn't come. Isn't it in vain that I have been preparing for so long? If Lian said to the side, since he won't come to eat, let's send it over and add some ingredients to him. Let's wait for the show tomorrow. When Zhan Ruoxue heard this, she thought this was a clever plan. Here in Yinchen, let the maid send it over later. Hey, please don't get up. The heroine is pointing at the heavenly spirit cap, and her whole body is glowing with wisdom. Then this group spread the 200-year range, and became levitated. The Feather Master finally cultivated his spiritual power, and became the first Yuxiage, who could cultivate his spiritual power. Just now, after many attempts with the Lord, I finally mastered the stone spirit Dan. Hua doesn't say anything, just drag it on. A burst of red power burst out from the random body. This is the power of 10 orders. At this time, the voice of the kitten suddenly infected the system. Master, please quickly practice your spiritual power. Now is the best time for you to make a breakthrough. If you miss this time, it will be a waste. Then the heroine immediately started to do it, scolded the kitten, and then did it cleanly. The little cat said, concentrating on it. Imagine picking up the thing closest to you, not with your hands, but with your mental power. Yuzu felt it, that's it. Two-handed bell stone. When you concentrate on your thoughts, they look like a table and a porcelain bowl. I shouted out my memory, and then I began to slowly choose this night. Hostess, I finally succeeded in concentrating. After I finished speaking, my whole body changed and I felt like I had no experience. Then he fell to the ground, his whole body was injured. The system prompts, Master, your mental strength has been exhausted. Go and rest quickly. From now on, just practice intensively every day, and you will be fine. I was about to go cook and wash myself, so I came here to calm down and bring the food over. The hostess rubbed her eyes and said, it's so late, why do you want to bring food? Leave it outside the door and wait for me to take a shower before going out. I received it with a guilty conscience. Well, this is, before I even finished speaking, the hostess planned on me. What's there to swear about? Now that you've delivered the meal, leave quickly. I heard the heroine was angry. The housekeeper put the rice in a fragrant manner, and then opened it with confidence. The heroine lay directly on the bed and said in a nonchalant way, ignoring the current situation, I think there's something wrong with the food design. Early the next morning, Zhan Ruoxue and the others said goodbye at the gate and prepared to go to the capital. Before Lin left, he also mentioned that the new and old masters must hide the third sister. I heard that the King of War will send someone soon. And Zhan was speechless. The old man said, don't worry. With your mental strength, the King of War will definitely believe that you are the one who defeated him that day. After you leave, I will also send Wu Yang to Jun's house to save people, and I will not let the King of War find him. After hearing the old man's assurance, Jun Shishue felt relieved. Then he pulled Jun Ruolian aside. Sister, after that trash is sent away, send someone to deliver it to you on the road. Jun Weishue made a splashing motion. Jun Weishue understood immediately, and said he would definitely do it. While the two were talking, there was a message from behind that the eldest sister was going away from home. She didn't tell me why she didn't tell her. The two of them were shocked yesterday, so Ji Shuang turned around and asked, "Why are you here?" The heroine Man Ling smiled. "My good sister is about to go out. At the same time, the military family members and I are coming to see her off. Jun Ruoshue is cold and hates her life. She also said that she is a member of the Jun family. You were in a good mood last night, and you came to the hall for dinner, but you didn't come. Forget it if you don't come. Anyway, the dinner has been delivered. You still don't." The Jade Master thought to himself that there was indeed something wrong with that prisoner. He said randomly and tentatively that he forgot to eat when he went to bed last night. He just saw it and took 2 bites. As soon as the two of them heard that he had eaten, they felt happy in their hearts. "Just wait until you go to the hair room to open the spring." "Ha, but it's none of my business whether you eat or not. You don't need to tell me." The heroine smiles. She has pure pearls on both ends. It's as small as possible. Do you really think I can't see it? After a lot of fun, Jun Ruoshue became the courageous king of Beijing. After the army entered and left, the old man called the master Yuzu. "Wu Yang. It's not very convenient to finish the work recently. Don't go out for the next 2 days. The heroine is Hu Dao." "Grandpa, what do you mean? How strong is this man?" When he was 6 years old, he took a butcher's knife and chopped down a mountain by himself, which was enough to kill him. Because these bandits killed a group of family members in front of him. Later, the man was caught by the people from the city lord's mansion, and he was sentenced to a slave wife's hospital. At this time, the mistress is choosing a slave to be her tail protector. As for why she chooses a tail protector, she has to start talking about it the day after Jun Ruoshue leaves. The heroine is just about to go out. I was stopped by a few Jun family guards. "Miss Third, please go back. I have an order to let you stay in peace for the next few days." This time, Jun Ruolian was passing by. "Jun Wuyan, you are dead now." He was afraid that the heroine would be pushed back to Qingfeng Yuan in his lifetime. "Why are you laughing? Let me out quickly, do you hear me?" "Third miss, the old man has been separated. He will send you to Jun's house to save the house in 2 days. So before then, please keep him in Qingfengjuan." Master Li thought to himself, first Jun Ruoshue went to the capital, and now they imprison me without care. They must be doing something behind my back. No, I must escape. Walk into the room randomly, wearing blue makeup and walking out. If you look carefully, you can see that there is a bit of a gentle and elegant salary. Uncle Duo said, "Go straight to the corner." January 27th. The previous winter month passed the 3-meter-high Wei Bridge. Safe landing in Shubei City. With my current strength, I am not an opponent that Juanao's talent gives me the opportunity to patrol. Now, Holy Witch Fengwen should find a way to make it happen first. And then find a senior patrol to protect the tail. This will increase the chance of escape. Soon we came to the filming of the real character of the famous actor. At this time, the store owner just arrived. This sentence makes sense when it comes to this young master. I heard my Shiasi say that the young master has treasures to be auctioned. I don't know how confident he is. The feather group touched the front pile. I took out the 200-year-old ancestral treasure, and played with the things inside. It is Laobai who I want to auction at the Quaker auction today. The name of the Zidane is Shalinden. It is a demon specially trained for ordinary women. After eating it, ordinary women can awaken their spirits the day after tomorrow. And their spiritual strength will be above the 3rd age. Boss Dakin, did I hear you right? This item is supposed to make an ordinary woman awaken her spirit the day after tomorrow. How is that possible? I have received the heroine's elixir. You can take it to verify it first. We won't eat it until the results of the elixir come out, and we can talk about it. The boss ran over excitedly, and let Yushu burn for a while. As long as the zero order appears, it will definitely cause a sensation in the entire Xuanwu continent. Only I, Jun Wuyan, can practice using the zero order. That's not a riposte. A piece was broken, and the boss came rushing over. Xiao Hihei said, Master, I have verified that your spirit test sheet is indeed miraculous. Let's start talking about cooperation. Let me tell you what you mean first and then I'll see if I can accept it. After some discussion, the boss decided to make 10 orders as the grand finale, with a base price of 50,000 taels each. The heroine took out 5 of them first and clapped them. The treatment room will be frequently used in the future. Finally, the boss met 50,000 people here. After taking off his clothes, he left. After a while, we arrived at Fujian. Judging from the golden light on these 2 people, they must be teachers. As soon as you walked to the door, the landlady smiled and said you were so handsome. The heroine asked directly, do you have any high-end candidates who are capable of resisting and fighting, who are smart and absolutely loyal? The highest standard of our slave electronics is level 3 mystical vision. I don't know if it matches the action experience. The Feathermaster thought to himself that Jun Aoqian was a 7th level magician. If a 3rd level magician was in front of him, wouldn't he be killed instantly? This wouldn't work. I asked randomly that there are no teachers with more than 3 machines. I'll help you hold him back. There really is one, but he's ugly and hard to keep. I'll take you to have a look. The heroine is also curious, so she agrees to it. After returning, we came to a nice little courtyard. There was a bone boat beating inside. This iron dragon exudes a terrifying atmosphere. The boss ladies are the first to open up. Inside is a man who is organized by chains. This is the Pubu man mentioned earlier. He has already become a 4-wheel spinner at the age of 20. He is the strongest man in this slave room. It's a pity that Xuanli has a mental problem and has mutual immunity. He tends to go berserk, so he uses the iron chain. The man suddenly turned his head and revealed a red eye. Then Qinyi, the angry prince who told the lie, went to the venue and was so excited that he shocked the heroine and the landlady. When others choose to protect the position, who wouldn't choose him who is weird and obedient? The heroine is good, but she falls in love with the arrogant one. Looking at the angry man, he clapped his hands and said yes. The lady boss next to him was dumbfounded. I thought to myself that this young man is not a pervert. The Feathermaster ignored him and approached Long Zi directly to ask the man, do you want to come out? There are some things about men. Few people dare to talk to them at such a close distance. In order to subdue this person, Master Yu showed that he could help him suppress the pain caused by the loss of control of his body's academic ability. We can also help him solve the sentence of being a middle-aged slave wife, but there is one condition. He must be loyal to himself and never be sentenced. The man was a little moved and asked randomly, how do you want to help me? The Feathermaster said, give me your right hand. Let me help you suppress your out-of-control academic qualifications. Take someone to look at the young man in front of you who is like spring breeze. Suddenly there was a leak. Of course, he didn't know that the heroine at this time was a woman and half a man, so he couldn't help but let down his guard. Then stretched out his hand. The heroine grabbed her handbag and said, let you taste the sweetness first, and then think about whether you want to have sex with me after a while. After saying that, he entered a state of concentration and used his newly learned mental power to help it suppress the out-of-control students in the body. The man suddenly felt a strange feeling. In order to make him feel at ease, the heroine specially asked him to relax and she would not harm him. The man is a bit uncanny. The mental power of the man in front of him can actually help him cause a riot in his body. After a moment, the man opened his eyes. One or another asked, we obviously have no close contact. Why can you lose for me? And aren't you a man? How can you have mental power? The heroine made an empty gesture and whispered, this is a secret. Have you thought about it? The man didn't hesitate. The heroine's hand said it was too heavy. I promise you, I was so shocked. This is so amazing. This monster's face is different from before. The heroine said unhappily, don't call her weird. She has a name now. After saying that, I looked at the man and from now on, your name will be Feng Xing. The man invaded the British style, and the heroine successfully subdued a 4 seasons Xuanxi. Then he asked the landlady to wash her books and put on a set of normal clothes. Originally, her secret room was worth 10,000 yuan, but because the man was conquered by the heroine herself, the landlady beat her up to 7 masters. Finally, the transaction was completed at a price of 7,200, and the origin of the man's efforts was recovered. At this time, the man just came out with a new one. If you look closely, except for his face, he looks like a handsome guy elsewhere. Tang Tang, a 4th level inspection team, was actually pointed at by someone on the street. Guiding his face with the palm of his hand, the man secretly looked at the heroine at this time. Then he quietly followed the heroine at a slower pace. The reason why he did this was because he was afraid that his image would affect the heroine. The feathermaster seemed to know what she was thinking and randomly said to the man, "Feng Qingyi, stay closer to me. You are always so far away. If someone wants to kill me, how can you protect me?" After saying that Feng Xingbian couldn't keep up, he asked the master if he had many enemies. The heroine replied helplessly, "I don't have any enemies, but I have a few. The entire Jun family has enemies against me." After hearing this, Feng Xing became even more confused. Then the heroine said, "By the way, I haven't told you about Shenfen. You should know that there is a military family in Wancheng. The military family trashed Jun Wuyan that the world calls me is me." Feng Xing's mind is full of comments. Is there any waste in the Jun family? Don't the Jun family only have 2 young ladies? Where did the young master come from? You stinky boy, don't keep your head down, and don't sneak too far. What's so shameful about this? In 2 days, I'll be trying to figure out how to remove the poison from your face. Feng Qi was a little surprised. How could the master know about the stone on his subordinate's face? The feather master returned calmly. "I can tell by your appearance. But I still don't know what kind of poison it is. I still need to study it. Let's go quickly." I sneaked out. If I'm discovered, I'll be in trouble. Soon he changed into Qing Fengyu. Since it was inconvenient to bring Feng Xing with him, I asked him to find a guest to fight with the host first. End of explanation. Things went over the wall and returned to the courtyard. As soon as I entered the room to change my clothes, I heard a distant knock on the door. It turned out to be a red-skinned woman, and she came over to deliver food. Just as he was about to open the door, he found that the single stove and herbs on the table had not been put away. He couldn't let him discover this. Randomly take out the front belt and put these things away quickly. When I pressed the slow button and knocked on the door, no one answered, so I just opened the door and came in. The heroine responded immediately, pretending to be holding a book and monopolizing it seriously. The monk Shuben watched the maid receive it. "I thought you had forgotten your order, and followed your master to the capital, if you were not afraid of death." The third lady misunderstood. "The reason why I didn't come last night, was to get information from you. I found out the reason why the eldest lady went to the capital. And the second lady's plan to commit suicide." "Oh? Tell me and listen. You know the King of War. He seems to be looking for someone recently. I can't find out the specific masterpiece. It's because of this that Miss went to the capital to find the King of War." The heroine searched the memory of the original owner. It seems that the War King is the strongest and most powerful king among the young generation of the Great Victory. Then when Yashuan, "Your eldest lady likes this War King," he said calmly and proudly. "Of course, the eldest lady wants to marry the accountant the most, and the second lady is the most gentle, His Royal Highness. These 2 can be said to be the most outstanding geniuses of Dashingbo." It is said that the 24-year-old King of War has already reached the 6th level of inspection, and the 19-year-old prince has also reached the 4th level of inspection. His future achievements will not be much worse than that of the King of War. Listening to what she said, the wind shape that I just conquered is also a 20-year-old 4-season selector. It seems that this kid's talent is not an ordinary dog. This time it will be reduced to a treasure. He could only calm down and say that the superior immediately asked him to stop without asking Jun Ruolian about the chance of assassinating him. Unable to calm down, the second lady found a few masters of the 3 seasons and even said things like Tuotian's departure, and the old man happened to be sending you there the day after tomorrow. The day when the military family rescued the house. Yuzu thought to himself, "It seems that Jun Ruolian will attack me the day after tomorrow. Even if the old man finds out afterwards, he will not let him live long for a waste, and may even try to hide it for him. They are all from the same clan, and they all have the blood of the military family. How can they be so capable of writing ruthless orders with very few materials?" After the silk lock is completed, open the table. It is said that a duck soul was taken down. Finally, he said to himself, "Since you are ruthless, don't blame me for being unintentional." After you finished speaking, you took out a single medicine and asked it to be mixed together. "I want to see the antidote and be overjoyed randomly." The heroine went directly to Bangkok, but she said, "If you do one last thing for me, I will give you all Bangkok." After hearing all the antidotes, Yao Huan became excited and said that he would do his best. "What, let me, Tang Tang, be harmed all by one man? In such a silly mask. Ah, who made this woman his master?" Just now, miscellaneous business came from the heroine's Qingdong courtyard. The eldest aunt was just carrying a few big boxes. Please be open-minded and talk about it. Auntie, what are you doing? It turns out that I came here to return the things I took in the easygoing courtyard. If some of the things have been gambled by Ogwafu, I can also fill in the name with my name. Randomly put the account book on the ground for Master Feather to check. Master Feather thought to himself, it seems that the effect of the slap in the face last time was not bad. As a result, when I saw it like this, I immediately felt a bit stupid in my heart. It's hateful that Jun Xinglu had even blocked the training experience of Master Wu Jixuan written by Yuanzhu's father. Then, as my eldest aunt asked me, can't I get back my father's cultivation experience? The eldest aunt said with embarrassment that your father's training is very precious. After the eldest uncle mortgaged it, Dufang's person was sold to another student. That person ran away long ago, and there is no way to get it back. The heroine had no choice but to pay the debt to the monk. Since I can't take it back because of my passion for cultivation, why is the gold box and jade red Shwazi in Obomu's hand not on the tent? The eldest aunt just came back to your second aunt. I really can't do anything. I asked him several times. He was obsessed with that idea, and wouldn't let me get close at all. The heroine thinks about the customs according to the word. The second blogger was so excited that night. There must be something wrong with this piece. Sooner or later, I will get it, but on the surface, I still received it calmly. Since the mother of the second country likes this idea so much, forget it. Shi Yu has no problem. Wu Yan has unloaded the mother of the big country again. Aunt Song's same-sex feelings are not always open. Seeing that he had left, the heroine directly used the Chenkuan belt to collect all the boxes of belongings. At this time, the system suddenly remembered that due to the successful recovery of the simulated object by the master's face slap, the special reward was 1,050 points. And the current entertainment point was 2,050 points. Today is a really good day. All the items that were taken away have been recovered and more than 1,000 balm has been transferred. Then I changed into my southern clothes and got ready to go out. I felt good about it. I think the wind shape should be waiting for me in its true form now. The grey soul has changed into its true character. Number 1 Hubinkse on the second floor. Open. I saw that the wind shape was already inside. This kid's heart weapon looks pretty good. Then he asked him where the auction was going. When Fengxing came back, he immediately called the police and finally collapsed the wall. At this moment, the heroine suddenly took out a cat face mask and asked Fengxing to wear it. Fengxing was confused as to why he wanted to wear this thing. The heroine was afraid that she would misunderstand, so she explained randomly, it's not that I dislike your face, it's just to disguise ourselves so that others won't know our identity. After putting it on him, he will have a hard time. It's so cute. Benxing could only laugh at him helplessly. Who made this his master? The auction site has also become lively. Today's first piece of pressure protection appears. The heroine is looking forward to it. Today's finale baby is a compound material. Everyone, look, this is today's first precious treasure. It comes from the most powerful genius Jun Xingqian's training experience of Master Bu Jizhuan. Yu Judajin, all of father's books are here. The old man of Ghost Soldier number 2 was also shocked. Isn't this his third son's book? Next to Erbua, go to Hyper. If his father finds out that he took the third brother's book and blocked it, it will be over. The owner of the completion process of VIP series number 3 is also very excited. If he can get this book, his second brother will be able to break through to become a 4-season scholar. Then the host began to introduce the preciousness of this book. It is simply a treasure for Mengmai Yechio, who is under 5G. This is an auction. The low price is 10,000 taels. Every time you increase the price, you must use 5,000 taels. The master starts to advance every minute. The heroine couldn't wait to bid. Mr. Chengzu can't do it anymore. Just give him 120,000 taels. The true soil of Chinese politics and economics. The host is also selling the waistband. Is there anyone else with a higher price? The old man also started to compete here. The butler loudly said 150,000 taels. I guess the old man never thought in his life that his son's things would cost the drama's money to get back. What's even more tragic is that he doesn't know what cost him so much. All are my granddaughters. Just now, everyone was wondering why the military family also paid the price. Could it be that this cultivation experience book was not put up for auction by the military family? People who don't know the truth have all kinds of theories. At this time, Master Yu was using his mental power to sense the surroundings. He discovered that the old man of the Jun family was next door. Now that he had discovered it, It was impossible for the old man to take the book personally. The old man knows the truth and the aunt's second blog. If you don't want to read it, just read it. Now it's better. Our entire military family has become a complete effect. The host in the court is holding his waist. Jun's tutor is worth 150,000 taels. Is there anything higher? Master Cheng is also very wealthy, and he also calls Jia 160,000 taels. Old master, is there anyone in the adult server who has cultivated to the 4 seasons Xuan master? The chief steward has returned. Master Cheng's second brother has stayed in the 4 seasons Xuan master for a long time. I think these 5 seasons of training experience were taken for his second brother. This new one belongs to our military family. It must not be given away to anyone else. You go and discuss it with Mr. Cheng. If Mr. Cheng recommends it to you. My military family is willing to give Wu Chang an excerpt to his second brother. Who is it? Erbua, the guy next to him, Yin Yang said angrily. Isn't it just my own experience? What's so great about it? If the third brother's writing is good, isn't he dead? The old man was so angry that he slammed the table and shut up. Your thoughts are on your brother's achievements, and it's not your turn to judge. After a while, the chief manager actually said, Mr. Cheng has agreed. We now offer 180,000 people. The host at the venue became more and more excited. The military family offered 182,000. Is there any higher price? One last thing, if no one teaches you, then those who don't cultivate their minds will be punished. The old man's subjective difference between sheep and sheep seems to have won over me. How could master you let her kiss you like this? Just ask Feng Xing to bid 500,000 taels. No, you just have to take the old man away if there is no difference. The heroine shakes Shishan, but what she said, this time I must have fun with this old thing Wan Juanjia. Not so much. Who dares to go against our military family? No matter how much the housekeeper pays, he must take a photo of it for me. After receiving the order, he has jurisdiction over the teaching frame of 5 billion taels. The introduction of wind shape value adds 600,000 points. The teaching is so easy and complete. Mr. Cheng Zhu went here to take some time to relax and said with some confusion. This experience belongs to the Jun family. Why did this happen? The Jun family came to take pictures themselves. Is it really confusing? What do you think of Wu Shuang Gongzike? The man from Baifar said lightly, if nothing else, I am quite interested in the guest of VIP number 1, she. I didn't expect that there would be people rushing to oppose the Jun family in this night city. It seems that the Jun family will suffer a big loss today. Master Cheng asked somewhat frankly, if the Jun family doesn't get up today, they won't be able to regain their temper. Then it depends on how number 1 noble soldier wants to tie himself to the peasant army. At this time, the heroine and the old man were competing for bids. In the end, the old man's bid reached 810,000. A good suitcase suddenly lost its life. Zhong Ren also spent his whole life in cold sweat. Unexpectedly, the price was 10,000 taels, and the price was nearly 810,000. The heroine also knew that the Jun family might not be able to hold on any longer at this time, so she immediately asked Feng Xingyi to call her home. Everyone thought that a good Baoxiang would not continue calling, but they did not expect that half a day had not passed. The old man in the suitcase has already dressed himself. Immediately, everything fell down. The cup was crushed. Go check the man's understanding for me. Chu Ran dares to save our military family. Let him know the consequences of provoking the military family. The system that belongs to the main side suddenly remembered. Congratulations to Suzhong for successfully managing points again. Based on your performance this time, you will be rewarded with 1,000 points. The auction of spirit bullets will begin next. This is today's main dish. What kind of animal is it? My heart shocked everyone so much that even the big guys from all sides didn't know it for a while. This starts with the last item in the auction. Dear guests, the highlight of today is coming. The next item to be auctioned is a peerless magic medicine that has never appeared in the ancient scriptures. Don't think I'm bragging. Next, please send us the boss to take out the last suppressing treasure, and let the fire open and see you. It is said that we are all surprised. How could the big boss, with his political personality, take the little silks to dry their brains? Someone said, are you stupid? This shows that the last treasure is precious enough for the big boss to show up in person. The old man is also starting to lose his period. The city lord is also in trouble. What on earth is such a big brand? Then the boss began to introduce. Tonight is the time when the fire will witness the miracle. I dare to guarantee that the emergence of this magic medicine will make the entire Xuanwu continent popular. Because it can change all of us. Miracles. The last thing tonight is really to suppress the waste prevention and give it to the teacher. It's a zero order. Dissenters who are suspicious of people's remains and the seven-mouthed snake. What is the soul test sheet? I have never heard of it. Does it have any special effects? Does it have any effect on the mysterious master? The big boss said randomly that you can never imagine the effect of this spirit test list because he is not a worry to Master Zhuan at all. The audience felt weak and aged for a long time. What's the point of not having to choose what they eat? The old man asked his concubine, his only son, in a low voice. It's not about learning poetry, it's just for the woman to practice her spiritual power. Isn't it just a way to increase her spiritual power? Just when everyone was in trouble, the boss explained that this was a small order, and was for ordinary women to eat. After hearing this, the audience immediately began to ridicule. They are a bunch of trash. They have neither mental power nor academic ability. What's the use of taking this single medicine? Master Cheng also thinks the same way. He will be disappointed when he comes to this auction. Young Master Wu Shuang next to him does not think so. Zundan said, maybe this is the magic we want, and the heroine has been using her mental power to explore them. Unexpectedly, there are really people who are not real and confused. If you have the chance, you must get to know them this time. At this time, the big boss on the stage once again explained that the magic of Shiling Dan is that he can make ordinary women, who do not have innate spiritual power, awaken their spiritual power. And the awakened spiritual power level is above level 3. When Zhong Ren heard this, he immediately shocked the internet. How could it be possible? It wasn't just them. Even the old lady stood up in shock. Master Cheng Zhu and young Master Wu Shuang are no exception. They have incredible war machines one after another. This kind of joke is what the heroine Shan Iya wants. The more shocked you are, the higher the value of my promise. It seems that today the situation is about to change. Fingxing asked doubtfully, what if the owner himself spoiled this order? The heroine underwent a debilitating surgery. This is our 2 lives. You can't tell others. Someone in the queue didn't believe it, so he asked if he had verified it with an ordinary woman. The general manager immediately pulled out a virus strain file. I think everyone who has come to our store often knows this. He is just an ordinary woman, and after he took a Shilinden pill yesterday, he awakened Jiang Shenli. Now I will show you his awakened spiritual power. After saying that, I put my hand on the pressure to stop the test. Then a word appeared on the bamboo. This number is said to have surprised everyone. The old man was also very shocked. This pressure relief turned out to be the 5-pole spiritual power. How many men just vowed to buy for their wives just a second ago? I would be dejected the next second. When people on stage and in the audience saw Shi Lingden's strange smile, they collectively exclaimed, oh my god, that pressure is so slow. I have really awakened my spiritual power. And it's still infinite. It's really unbelievable. A few days ago, we were checking the water pressure, but now we can no longer reach it. At this moment, Master Feather System suddenly remembered, congratulations to Master Su for successfully slapping him in the face and gaining a white point of frankness. Congratulations to Master Su for his frankness, which kept rising until he reached 23,150 points of frankness. The reason for obtaining frankness was actually because he slapped everyone in the face. The heroine felt so happy. The money she earned from this slap in the face was worth at least 1 year of her life. The men in the row immediately became excited. How many of them could not be together because the woman they fell in love with had no mental power? With this single medicine, the woman they liked could also have mental power. How many women can only watch their men suffer the pain of keeping secrets because they have not awakened their spiritual power? This time, I must take a photo of it for my wife, so that I don't have to suffer the pain of losing control of my secrets at the hands of others. Seeing such a miraculous Shilin bomb, the old man was full of excitement and thought that he must get this single drug. Master Cheng also thinks the same thing. This is Lin Dan's strange smile. It is enough to shake the entire Xuangu continent. Who doesn't want to embrace it? The atmosphere of Da Dang Jia Jian has already become dazzling. He randomly said loudly that there are a total of 20 orders. They are fully booked in 2 times. The first 10 LP starts to be auctioned. The price is 150,000 taels. Each increase in price must not be less than 100,000 taels. The ground hangs quietly. Now start taking pulses. Everyone in the queue was vying for a higher price. The scene was extremely fierce. The Old Lady, starring Cheng Li with Chen. I feel appropriate for this medicine in my heart. The old man raised his hand to adapt. The butler has now taught me 500,000 yuan. Master Cheng even expanded his chess skills and taught me $1 million directly. Both sides are fierce competitors. They both bid 1.5 million taels more. Mr. Shen bids 2 million taels. Both sides bid more 2.5 million taels. Mr. Shen bids 200.8 million taels. He was instantly deflated after lifting the heavy man. It was really a fight between gods. They could only watch. Both bids were increased by 3 million. This has created the highest price in its history. Is there anyone who has become a monk or higher? Is there any? The hostess and minister understood. It is estimated that the city lord has reached the limit. How can he let the old man get the stone forest pill easily? Then he ordered Fengxing to go to Lord Cheng's room to make a deal. Just write a letter. What kind of deal do you want to do with him? The heroine's mysterious and delicate wave invites Fengxing to come over. Then he said next to his son that your lifelong slave wife contract still needs Master Cheng to resolve it for you. You happen to remember to try out the single order, and it has been resolved. You go over here and tell him that he's not afraid, and when he initiates the attack, you can beat him. Fengxing was also listening carefully. What was the content of the sound? The queen bows her hands to show her respect to the mistress. I thank the master at this time. He can still think of my loyal slave and concubine. After Fengxing is frightened, she will definitely protect her master Ju Quan with all her strength. This wave of operations will directly increase Fengxing's loyalty. The heroine said calmly, your words are enough. Go ahead and wait for you to come back. Let's watch the Jun family's show together. What on earth did the heroine do to cause a heart attack? Just now, Fengxing came back from the lord of the city and told him that the lord had agreed to meet him at the mansion after the auction. At this time, the host at the auction was shouting immediately to the Jun family's bid. The old man in the suitcase has already revealed the secret. It seems that I have the holy power. The big housekeeper has also sealed off the city. There is absolutely no way anyone can bid higher than the military family. Just when the host was about to announce that the old man's photo shoot was successful, Mr. Cheng, Master Dahai, I bid 3.2 million taels for this life. It made the proud old man so angry that he couldn't even breathe. The big butler reminded me that the current liquidity of the family is only 1 million taels at most. How can the old man have so much? Pai, you must take a picture of me at all costs. The big housekeeper could only helplessly shout out that the military family would pay 3.4 million taels. At this time, Master Cheng seemed to be on the hook and called for another 3.8 million people. The big housekeeper's front page continued to shout out 4 million taels. Water materials, of course the group said it with nothing. Juanjia took action to expand the contact. Let Juanjia take charge of the medicine. In the end, Jun added 4 million taels and won the first Shen Dan. Now the auction for the second one begins. And when Juanjia successfully took the photo, the heroine was observing them with her mental power and found that they actually wanted to find out the formula from a single medicine and introduced the green section market. It was quite beautiful to think about it. After the auction, the master came over to say goodbye to the jade owner. Congratulations to Wu Yaogong. Your Shilin pill will surely make a sensation in the big victory event soon. Wu Yaogongzi is the identity of Jun Wuyan's female companion dressed as a man. The boss then took out a black card. 2 single pills were auctioned for a total of 5 million. They were all in the card. The result of the heroine being polite is Heikai. Then the question and answer was puzzling. Did Dangjia forget to deduct the auction fee? The boss is also an experienced person. In order to build a relationship, he exempted the heroine from the formalities. I hope that Mr. Wuyo will cooperate more with you on any good projects in the future. In fact, it will definitely open the door to convenience. The heroine thanked the boss in the episode. Zuluan made an appointment with other people and came to Chengzu Mansion. Soon he came to the court. Chengzu Jr. said, I didn't expect that the person who traded with me was for young Kung Fu. I have a lot to do with my life. The heroine looked at the white-haired man next to her and asked, this bright boy is trying to. Master Cheng then introduced him as the unparalleled young man who took the second stone. In fact, the heroine used her mental power to understand the situation, but she still pretended to be elegant and said, "It turns out that this is Mr. Wushuang." Unexpectedly, a small transaction, Zhan Lian Wushuang came to work. It really made me feel sexy. Young Master Wushuang waved his folding fan and said simply, "Master Wu Yu is not so polite. I'm just curious. What kind of adjustment did you give me to actually allow Master Cheng to take the risk to help you suppress military prices in his true nature? The nose master can actually detect the thoughts in other people's minds. This is a list of the extent." Thinking about the thought I had just now, it was actually seen clearly in front of me, and I was instantly embarrassed and turned back. Just now the heroine took out a bottle and sued Master Wushuang. This was the condition she gave Master Cheng, a Shen Yu Dan. When Master Cheng heard that it was a trial order for him, he stood up excitedly and said, "Gongzi Wu Yao is indeed true to his word." Just as he was walking out, the bottle in the heroine's hand suddenly disappeared, which made Master Cheng feel a little fierce. "You Lord received it calmly. Before I give you the single request, I hope you will first fulfill your previous promise, and destroy my lifelong slave concubine contract. Compared with the zero order, this is nothing." Master Cheng immediately went to try to accumulate one. Then he directly sent out the original contents of the device with a pen. "Your subordinates are now self-employed. The host has already agreed with the host." The heroine immediately revealed that it was Lin Dan, and expressed her gratitude to the host. When the result of becoming the master fails, I secretly thought, as long as I have this Shilin pill, I won't be afraid that I won't be able to find a way to delay its placement until then. Before the fantasy was over, the heroine suddenly spoke. "Even then, Lord City Lord, you will never discover the formula for making Silent Pill, let alone develop based on this, Lord City. The Lord has given me a lot of money," and I asked him curiously. "You can actually hear my inner thoughts. Who is the young master?" "Master Yu said calmly, I'm not a god. I have a second purpose here, which is to cooperate with you too." In this situation, Mr. Wushuang stood up and walked towards the heroine. Then I asked, "How did you know that we can't discover the formula from a single drug?" "Because it is my exclusive formula. The proportion of ingredients and the order of refining individual materials, as well as the size of the fire, there can be no mistakes. Otherwise, not only will it be ineffective, but it will also distance you from. The most important thing is that I discovered during the auction that the quality of Shalinden had been reduced. Because the single drug I experimented with before on his true master clearly ignored the spirit of visiting the 6th level. But in that matter, you only awakened to the 5th level. Now only I can figure out the best way. So if you want to make money, you must cooperate with me. Mr. Wushuang is a bit discriminatory. Why don't you read the war resources for such a good thing? Instead, share it with us." The tone of the female lead detective then received. "Because the production is too difficult and expensive, it is difficult for me to mass produce it alone. If I want to bring Shalinden to the market, I must find a job." Mr. Wushuang became interested and immediately asked how to divide the work and cooperate. So the heroine encouraged her and said, "You encourage yourself." After talking about the matter, the heroine returned to her place. At this time, the heroine also called Feng Xing over. Li took the makeup tools and said to Feng Xing, "I have a task for you tomorrow. Let me install yours first." After saying that, he started to fall down. He said it while putting on makeup. "Now that you have regained your freedom, I promise you that you will send me to a safe place tomorrow. If you want to leave the picture." After saying that, Feng Xing grabbed Yuju's hand tightly and said, "I won't leave your eyes." The heroine looked at her and held her hand tightly. Look at his serious expression of hiding his face again. "Then I asked you what you meant by this." The man let go of the heroine's hand. "Seriously, I will always be by your side and I will always be considerate to you." Ningtu explodes her chest with both hands. "I'll feel relieved if I leave you these words." Then he patted Feng Xing on the shoulder and said, "Tomorrow you will wear this outfit, and follow the car all the way to protect my safety at all times. I have a feeling that someone will attack me." The charming and simple interest indicates that you have set the right talisman. After explaining the matter, the heroine asked Feng Xing to go back and rest. The heroine was lying on the bed, thinking silently in her heart, hoping that she and Feng Xing would be safe tomorrow. In the blink of an eye, the next day came, and all the luggage was ready to go to the military family to rescue the house. Master Yu was thinking that all the things that should be brought were put in the ex-marriage belt. None of the clothes of the parents would be left to Jingjia. The levels of these whos don't seem to be low. It seems that Zhan Ruolian is determined to kill himself this time. Then she saw Zhan Ruolian subduing the old man and walking out of the gate. So in the new season of the heroine's freshman season, she must give the army a good slap in the face again before she leaves. When Jun Ruolian saw the heroine, she said as if she was waiting for her words, "Third sister, you are really lucky. Today, my grandfather actually said that he would deliver it to the door in person. Why don't you hurry up and get your luggage here?" The heroine pretended to be a little pitiful during the episode and thanked her grandfather without words. However, Wu Yang was going back to her old house today. She was really capable of practicing vulgarity. "I wonder if Grandpa could ask my second sister to return Wu Yang Ying's monthly money to me. I heard that my second sister helped take care of her before." When the old man heard this, he immediately asked Jun Ruolian what was going on. The heroine Anma in Jun Ruolian's heart is going to get out of here. She still wants to show her voice and photos in front of me. Then he took the old man's arm and received it. "Grandpa, the money is indeed with me. However, Wu Yang brought a lot of treasures. Any one of them is worth thousands of gold. I will give you 2 more. Feathermaster's eyes widened again, his little hands kept beating, and he said excitedly, "Second sister, that's my parents' relics. How could I sell my parents' relics in such an unfilial manner?" Seeing this, the old man couldn't say anything. He immediately asked Jun Ruolian to give you the Lord 10 million, and say nothing else. Unexpectedly, the heroine went to the territory of Mahan and said, "Grandpa, it's more than 10,000 taels, right? Wu Yang hasn't received it since he was 8 years old until he was a month old. It was all led by his second sister. By now, he probably has at least 100,000 taels." The old man was furious when he heard this. Now he is very angry. "I didn't expect you to be so greedy and speechless. Hurry up and retreat to the inner south of Yuqian. Otherwise, don't enter the gate of Jun's house." Jun Ruolian looked crying. If he didn't have so much money, Beiku, who can't? Honey Lord is a hanger man who is weak and incorruptible than the army. He is louder and louder. "Grandpa, can I still lie to you as soon as I am asked to leave home?" "Second sister, since she is so ruthless and speechless, I have to say it. Second sister, go up. What Yu Zai Chi Qian Miao did to me." The old man was a little confused. What would he do? Jun Ruolian went to Huang Zhangwu and quickly took out 100,002 tickets and stuffed them into the owner's hands. Then she said that my sister was wrong. "This is all the money that my sister has. I will give it to you." He was so poor that he waited for the heroine and simply said, "She's here. The second sister still has feelings for me." Wu Yang played the second sister here. Jun Ruolian said sincerely, "Wu Keki, the second sister just hopes that my sister will have a smooth journey, and that there will be no accidents on the way." Master Yu was too lazy to pay attention to him, and just turned around. As he walked, he said, "It's a day today. I hope everyone is still alive and well when we meet next time." The reality of weak ties in seconds. Finally, the heroine's motorcade started to set off. "Why are you scolding me from behind with a weak face? What do you want this time to escape?" "I eat and drink in principle." "Are you the bodyguard of the Jun family?" Why did he suddenly report the rape and murder of the heroine? "If you don't swear, you have to leave or talk about it in late adulthood." After half a day's long journey, the heroine suddenly stopped the carriage. Then he asked the accompanying guard if there was anything to eat nearby. He didn't even eat breakfast. Now he told Suo to do something evil. Suddenly, Hu Wei remembered what Jun Ruolian had told him. He would never let Jun Wuyan leave the carriage before he was brought to the old man Morishan. He then told the heroine about the third lady. "I'm afraid this won't work." The heroine asked Jila Shengji, "Why, do you still want to hurt me, the third lady?" They talked about this business, and the location was hard to refuse. All I could say was that there was a tea house in front, and we could go there to dine first. Away soon. The name is quite interesting. It's called Yujian Passenger Station. Then the feather master walked in. At this time, Fengxing was drinking tea inside when he suddenly noticed that the heroine was also shocked. However, this was the first time she saw the master in women's clothing. The updated one directly took pictures of the oil difference. I couldn't help but sigh in my heart. I didn't expect that the master would actually lead such a life in the Jun family. Tang Tang Naya had to dress up as a woman. How determined is the Jun family for the master? Good guy, I still don't know the heroine's identity until now. True gender. In order to prevent the guards around me from noticing the abnormality, I didn't follow Fengxin's greetings and actually asked the waiter to grab some food. Just when Xiao was hiding, WHO seemed to have discovered something. It turns out that the military family's pressure relief is also here. After sitting down, the hostess asked the waiter if any little girl had been here this morning. After hearing what she said, the waiter knew the situation and immediately told the hostess that the person was in the room of Emperor number 1. After lunch, the heroine came to the Emperor's room number 1. When I was about to knock on the door, I suddenly heard someone talking inside. It turns out that the guard of Ya Huan is inside. Ya Huan said, "The flying thing gave me poison and asked me to steal the ruby table of the second lady. I am here today to deliver the table and get the antidote." Hu Wei asked the maid to get Jiao and leave quickly. Zhang Wuyan didn't seem that easy to mess with. He also took a vote of 100,000 taels from the second lady this morning. But the second lady paid him only 1,000 taels for the murder. It's really hateful. The heroine of the first hall still had 100,000 taels in hand, so she immediately started talking about it. She was going to kill the heroine anyway. So why not take the money with her? It turns out that these two people are a team, but their every move is sensed by the heroine with her mental power. The heroine sneered at each word. "Since you were the first to make the wrong remark, then don't blame me." When they were ready, the heroine pretended to be a weak and careless past. At this time, Yang Chuan was leveling the ruby table, and this household was hidden behind the gentle wind and moved in all seasons. After getting the table, the feathermaster immediately thought that a pill would be the number 1. I didn't think much about the pressure ring, and just steamed it and swallowed it. Then Yin Cheng confronted the heroine with this face. But at this moment, Na Hui quickly came behind the Yu clan. "If you jump up fiercely, you will kill the feathermaster instantly with one blow." When the knife is only 0.01 millimeters away from the heroine, suddenly the angle rises and falls at a very sharp angle. He was a lifetime away. Na Hui was the first to see Yang Wang. The person who came was none other than Feng Xing. This sudden change made the pressure ring collapse to the ground. Xin put away the knife handsomely, and then calmly put away the knife. "The master has already taken care of it." The host nodded with satisfaction. "I am overwhelmed and scared. How could this happen? Did you hear it just now? So what did you give me just now? Could it be poison?" I kept pressing Hu wrong and wanted to spit it out. Yuzulu said with his hand, "Congratulations, you got the answer right. What I gave you just now is raw leg serrano pills. This is a chronic poison. You will be tortured until you pass out." When I pressed the ring and heard it, my eyes turned white. Learn to pass out. After ignoring them, Feng Xing put on his old clothes. The heroine is determined to sit in the car and want to harm me. She will wait for the rest of her life. What should you do when you find that your guards are not here to protect you, but to kill you? At this time, the heroine gently patted the curtains and repeated the words outside. He knew in his heart that these were the people arranged by Zhang Ruolian to kill him. Although the opponent with the charming A part sneaked in, it was difficult for him to circle around with his hands, so he had to think of a way to escape. Then I used my mental power to detect the situation of the people around me, and suddenly I heard them saying that they wanted to take action in front. Time is a little tight. I will take action soon. Now is the last chance to escape. So he immediately stopped the convoy. When Shigeto heard the heroine shouting, he immediately stopped. The vice captain immediately asked the heroine if she had any orders. The heroine, the dancer, said that she wanted to solve the internal plot. The vice captain received this with a somewhat guilty conscience. It's not convenient here now. It's better to wait until the front is over there. The heroine Dahai couldn't wait any longer, and immediately jumped out of the car. If you didn't just want to stop me, your boss wouldn't say anything. Okay, I'll deal with it nearby. You don't need to say anything. Amorous words, jump up immediately. Then he said to the guards around him, I will follow him. You don't have to worry. The captain of the fleet will follow him in person. You can rest assured. Master Yu also cooperated and said, hurry up and protect me. My stomach hurts so much. After saying that, he entered the grass boy and became nervous. The other members of the meeting were watching from behind and did not follow. A guard asked worriedly, Vice Captain, that loser won't take the opportunity to escape, right? The Vice Captain returned calmly. Don't worry, our captain is a private plane escort. He will never be able to escape with the captain following us. What's more, he doesn't know that we want to kill him. At this time, the heroine was in the middle of the broadband, and a set of clothes came out. This operation shocked Feng Xing next to him. The heroine didn't explain too much. She took Feng Xing's hand and said, it's too late to change clothes. Let's put them on while running. Then he blamed the scarecrow and ran away. The guards waited for a long time, but still didn't see the two people coming back. They were still a little confused. Then I looked at my opponent's palm, and found that he had been standing there without moving. Vice Captain's random surprise, Miss Third, have you solved it? However, it's so exciting to go here and you have to wait. If you find something isn't right, hurry up. Other households also came over and asked the captain in front of him what was going on, but found that he had not responded. The vice captain tests it, directly jumped to stay. When G was furious, he said, damn it, let him run away. He took everything to the straw man. He was confused here. That loser has an accomplice. After saying that, let Zuguwei catch up directly. We must kill this drama to pay our fees. Damn, the captain must have been killed by them. Don't let me catch him, otherwise I will break you into 100,000 pieces. This is too servile. The heroine and the others didn't notice the terrifying glasses behind them. After Yu Zhuang's group escaped, they entered a forest of rules. But what they didn't expect was that these guards would be so fast and arrive not far behind them in the blink of an eye. Fengxing explained that they were both level 3 Zhuanxi Juduo, the vice captains were still level 4 Zhuanxi, and the speed of the power hunt would indeed be very fast. There was no time to say more, so the two of them could only run forward desperately. At this time, there was also a strange professor coming from the depths of the forest. These households are still hotly pursued, and 8 million people have signed up with them. The Feather Master suddenly turned around. I believe Danan will have a generous husband until he dies. Are you willing to come with me? Fengxing didn't hesitate at all, and was willing to follow his master to the ends of the earth in this life. After saying that, the heroine took Fengxing's hand and stretched it out into the forest. When these guards reached the outer border, they stopped and did not dare to go deeper. The guard next to him asked cautiously, Deputy Captain, why did they go in directly? I heard that someone discovered a running sail here a few days ago. If we encounter it, it will be in trouble. Do we still want to pursue it? This deputy captain is so determined that he must kill the heroine. His subordinates are all worried. The vice captain mentioned the big health care behind it. So what about Hao Xiao? Dozens of us ask for poems, as long as we don't disappear from the group. It can always be. After saying that, he took the lead and rushed in. Others are doing well too. The two of them didn't dare to stop at all, and kept running towards the body. Those parts of the body were also willing to catch up. The heroine turned around and found that they were still chasing her. She suddenly became somewhat united. The vice captain actually kept chasing after her. Random said only to the front. Let's take the 4th level patrolman to the deepest point, then use the basement to ambush and deal with it first. Say it. The two of them speed up and run towards the place. The thick stem here is a good place to ambush, but going there will give off the aura of Gui. The two of them were looking for a good location in vain. Suddenly, a cell phone from a special agency came from all around. The heroine got the thing of her life. However, just as the two of them were observing their surroundings, a huge eye suddenly appeared behind them, staring at them. The two of them decided to come out again, without discovering anything. Then they each looked for Leophidian. Unexpectedly, the heroine, my star skills are not bad. I jumped to a high place in the woods after a few jumps. Feng Xingzhua she pinched the hand for him, fearing that he would fall and find his place. After that, the heroine made an okay gesture to indicate turning around. After a while, a black streak appeared. As expected, the deputy captain was able to catch up. Dongzhong hoped that he did not notice the obstruction of the two heroines. I thought to myself, this technique has never felt anyone's breath. It seems like there is no one. At this moment, a man was fighting with Flash. With a swipe, Fengxing appeared behind the vice captain. Just when Fengxing was about to give him a big coin, the vice captain seemed to feel something behind him. Overreal, then the city of Zhongju is taken back. Quickly throw out a punch, and the wind-shaped ones each have 10,000 long lives. The confrontation between the two has become a huge peak. After confronting the epidemic, the two quickly broke up. The vice captain was attacked and slightly defeated. With the blood stains on his mouth and feet, he said, it turns out you are also a stimulating master. No wonder you are so fast. But the signal is for you to catch up with that trash, otherwise we really wouldn't have a chance to catch up. Hearing that he dared to scold his master, Fengxing's face immediately dropped. Then I received the big treasure gold in my hand. Is this your artistic expression? They say there's something deep in the forest that doesn't exist. These people still insist on coming in. Now, all the parents of the army are gone. Just when Deng Sai caught up, the vice captain was stimulating Fengxing with words. I didn't expect that loser to have such a loyal dog. But it seems that Xiaogui has abandoned you and ran away. Then I can only kill you first before going. He won't eat even if he's taken there. I believe that he can endure his humiliation to his master. When Jironki's big treasure arrow is about to kill him, the opponent is not weak either. You are a young boy who has just broken through the 4 seasons. With such strength, you still want to protect the center of the Lord in front of me. Then you have to ask whether the sword in my hand will answer. 24 giants collided together to create a strong preview. It can be seen that neither of them dares to show off at all. After a lifetime of gathering together, the strength of the 2 of them is almost separated. Kongju. Together, the swords clashed and the car was injured. The 2 of them fought until they hit the huge fingers. It was not their own Xuanji's battle. The scene was fierce. After another collision, both of them were knocked back. The confrontation on this matter has entered a critical juncture. Neither of them dared to be careless. They were always looking for the other's bankruptcy. The troop leader didn't want to speak for too long, so he directly aroused his own spirit snow, and his soul body burst out with powerful power. Pixiang is popular from the ground, shouting loudly, "Go to hell, boy." The 2 of them exchanged seals again, and Fengxing struggled to resist. The vice captain breaks out again. Falling into fire will lead to death. At the same time, a blade protruded from the sole of his shoe. It seems that this old man wants to play with audio and video. After finishing the exercise, the left foot with the blade quickly kicked towards the wind. Fengxing also discovered his case, but at this time he was trying his best to resist the other party's knowledge. There was no way to avoid him. He entered, advanced and retreated from both sides, and he felt very at ease with each other. The vice captain let out a sustained laugh. You can't escape. You're finished. I can already imagine you having the tip of a knife thrust through your neck. Really look at this moment. A figure is surrounding me. A nose hand is looking for space and turns quickly. The person coming is none other than the heroine. At this time, he had appeared silently behind the backup superpower. The husband had to eat his whole life, but he gave her a lift so that he wouldn't panic. What is maintained is a burst of gods. After dealing with this person, look at Xiang Fengxing and ask if he is injured. Jian Fengxing pulled out his nose hand in Wu Wei transformation and then said, "We have to leave quickly, otherwise others will catch up." After saying that, the 2 of them left in training. At this time, the vice captain was actually still breathing. Before Lin died, he was still in Oman. Zhang Wuyan, please wait until my cargo space arrives. I will definitely let you die without a trace of dirt. However, he still didn't know that there was only one person left in the Huwei team. Because of his willful behavior, the Huwei team encountered a group of dissenters as soon as they entered the depths of the victory zone. Ren is the media guide. Among the high-profile salesmen, he has a huge salesman. The entire deputy team has become their strength. There is only one person left in this sales group, and he is developing lustfully. Hao Xiaowang suddenly opened his mouth and was bleeding. The peeling film in the mouth was sprayed directly on the eyes of the lake. It is estimated that the lower body has already been affected. You can already see the dog in his eyes at this time. For a lifetime, the upper body and the lower body made a final farewell. It's been a long time since I traveled through time. I haven't reached the pinnacle of my life yet. Is it about to end? He had just escaped from his opponent's fat fool half an hour ago, and was about to leave his side at this moment. This is related to the fact that the lower you go, the bigger the front is. The wind reminds you of this situation, and the dirt road. The heroine thinks that this may not be a bad thing. At least it would be worth it to hit the door with smoke to prevent the chasing story from happening. And just at this moment, the heroine seems to have discovered something. When I walked in and took a look, I realized that all the parts that were chasing them were dead. The 2 of them suddenly had that kind of bad expectation, and they were randomly made troublesome to each other. Just then, a group of runners appeared on the scene. Compete with the protagonist and be in the best group. Each piece of this monster skin is as hard as iron, and it directly knocks the fishmaster's nose and hands away. It seems that this group of runaways is not easy to deal with. Fortunately, I still retained the fighting skills from my previous life, and my level 1 roundhouse kick knocked away my spirit. This hasn't happened the other way around yet. There won't be another one later. When the heroine was still in a daze, luckily Fengxing came in time. Didi Heng eliminated sneak attack sales. Looking back, Hu Jinju realized you were living on the back of a running back. Fengxing quickly criticized the tree under the night. It is their weakness. Try to attack them in front of them. Upon hearing the reminder, the heroine immediately turned away, her thoughts escaping from the eyes below. Let her hurry up and catch up with the rhythm, holding the group with one hand to gather Chishuan. The whole sea of Chinese medicine was blasted out, and one was also solved. When the two of them were about to let the children off, another bigger one appeared. The two of them were bold and not evil. This turned out to be a robed king. Fengxing took Master Yu's hand and ran away quickly. In order to avoid the attack, the two of them jumped directly onto the giant barbarian trunk. King Hao Shao seemed to be enraged and died, unable to catch up. The heroine felt that there was nothing she could do, so she suggested that Fengxing and others would attack the investment network head-on, while he and she took the opportunity to lay eyes on her. After saying that, "Just do it, Fengqi, a bean air stick. You go to the Emperor Wang Shi." Unexpectedly, the robe of the school king was so numb that he passed this episode. At this time, Master Yu had jumped down directly to call Ji. It happened to be a program that sent a message to the Daobao website. It seems that Wang Shitong suddenly has a European version of the chairman who wants to choose his concubine. It hit a tree. "This machine is very powerful," Feng Qing shouted loudly, and the owner showed a worried look. "But the most important thing at this time is to get rid of the running sails in front of us first." The reason why Feng Xinghui went to the whole body. Finally, he suddenly struck out and killed the Golden King of Robes with one strike. After finishing off this monster, he quickly ran to the heroine to check the situation. However, no matter what she said, no matter how rumored, the heroine had no private reaction. The cold path of the tyrannical heroine Sai Shen Lai. Who will save her? Who will save my master? No matter how much he yells, the heroine can no longer wake up. Not only was the body seriously injured, but the heroine's soul was also severely injured. At this time, she was calling System 38 in her mind how to save her life. However, she did not hear the system's recovery. At this time, a red line appeared on the heroine's neck. When the heroine is resting, her heart is also beating fiercely. Then a man was suddenly surprised and scared me all over. "Do you have some kind of warmth?" It made him feel that the heroine was in danger at this time. So he immediately asked people to prepare to go out and look for him. This person was the hero of our rising star Nian Nian, who had finally appeared on stage. At this time, a subordinate suddenly jumped out and persuaded, "My lord, you can't move around now. Deb said that your body has just returned home, and you need to do your best." The tent king pushed him away directly. "Just kidding, my future wife is almost gone. Ma is still in the mood to try his best. I must get to her as soon as possible." Finally, he immediately boarded an express flight. The King of War is very worried. The direction of the pain comes from the east. "Zhang Wuyan, are you still there? Hold on. I will go find you immediately." At this time, Mao Yang is about to be copied by him, but he is still not fast enough. I don't know how long it took, but a carriage appeared on the road. The King of War also felt strange. His chest wouldn't hurt now. Could it be that Zhang Wuyan was withdrawing? Then he stepped forward and asked if there was a woman named Zhang Wuyan in your convoy. The uncle is a little confused. Who is he? Why should he look for Zhang Wuyan? The man did not turn around and went straight back to Iam Zhu, the younger brother of the King of War. The uncle immediately became excited when he heard this. He shouted, "Daughter, come out quickly. We have found the King of War." It turns out that the people in the carriage, it was the military flesh and blood who wanted to pretend to be the heroine. Hearing that the War King was coming, he immediately opened the door and said excitedly, "Your Highness, the War King, Wu Yang finally found you." Looking at the infatuated military weak blood, I was a little disappointed. This is the army I'm looking for. The heroine in this matter met the original owner again in a dream. The original owner was touching the heroine's hand and said, "Sister, please help me get revenge. Don't die. We made an agreement." The heroine replied with authority, "I'm sorry, I can't do it anymore." The original owner suddenly shouted, "You are not allowed to die before you can help me take revenge." After saying that, you disappeared. After the queen, the feather master opened his eyes and found that he was not dead. At this moment, the system remembered. Congratulations to the master for successfully slapping his enemy Zhang Ruolian in the face. He obtained 3,050 points of straightforwardness. The system customer service number 8 is at your service. The heroine suddenly started to ask, "Where is the little Kailai Baba, who served me before?" After the system's explanation, I found out that my resurrection was due to the previous system overcoming it. Shao 38 Shanza saved himself, so he was sent to the Bone Black Room by the system's rules. For 3 years. This period of time will be mentioned by number 80 era. When he was in a cold mood, a sudden wave of giants came from Bedouin, and he couldn't help but think about his education. It's because the old man appeared at the door and said to the heroine at the top, "Little girl, don't move around. The wounds in your lifetime haven't healed yet." The heroine didn't pay too much attention to her wounds and asked where the charm was. The old man touched the fox and said, "That kid is fine. I worked hard on your cultivation outside during the day. The supervisor is guarding you outside the house, for fear that one of you will be lost." When Master Yu heard this, he was deeply moved. He immediately thanked the old man for his life-saving grace and agreed to give him power in return. This old man's name is Muzun. He is a film and television expert, and he has nothing to ask for. As long as they help in the mountains, that's it. Then the old man Shu asked the heroine her name and why she came to this mountain. This place is extremely threatening. If she meets an old man like him in this life, I'm afraid 3 people will die. The heroine's semen was wetted out. I'm asking the come-eating guide, how many people did you just say died? The old man was sprayed with some saliva, and Wu Feng jumped wildly and said, 3, you still have 1 in your belly, don't you know? How could the master, a grown man, conceive a child? Feng Xing was stunned. This is on Gang Tai. When the heroine heard the old man say that she was pregnant, she was so shocked that she sprayed the old man with some medicine that Gang drank in his mouth. The old man was so angry that he jumped up and down. What's wrong with you, little girl? You sprayed all over my face. This soup must be really expensive. It's such a waste. I haven't decided with the main spirit yet. I still can't believe it. The old man went on to say, how old are you all? You still run around when you are pregnant. If the child hadn't grown up and I had rejuvenated you with my wonderful skills, you can imagine the consequences. I just came here after patting my head. I was careless. Although I forgot about that incident, I didn't expect that the memory gun company would relabel it. If it hadn't been for the sudden breakup of the engagement that day by the local Wind and Soul, I would have bought it and taken safety measures. When the old man saw the heroine's disgusted face, he thought she didn't want the child. I don't have any friendship with the Lord either. Since I already have it, it's a big deal and I'll leave it behind. As soon as the old disciple heard him say that he was going to give birth, he immediately became excited. I love children the most. As a reward for saving my life, let me be my grandfather. I have both civil and military powers. I will definitely be able to give him a name that is just and upright. The heroine was helpless. You, grandpa, came too cheap. The old man didn't want to hear this. In order to save the 3 of you, I consumed all the precious herbs. What's wrong with being a grandpa? The heroine had no choice but to hold on to the old man, so she agreed. She even explained to him that this child was not wind-shaped. Don't get me wrong. The old man opened the room secretly. When I turned around, I bumped into a body. That won't work. I happened to hear the heroine Bai Yun's words and was immediately shocked. How could a man be pregnant with a child? Mizu was a little embarrassed to say hello to Feng Qing. Who would have thought that this kid turned his head and ran out, hardening both of them? What was going on? In the days after that, the heroine and the others have been living with the old man. During this period, the irregularity on Song Shin's face was also cured. This old man pesters the heroine every day to accept her as his disciple. Master Yu immediately asked how many episodes of Master Shu you were, and you dared to say that you would accept me as your disciple without mercy. The old man said proudly, it's not very high. Just ask Bucky. Master Feather can't believe it. Junmo was born as one of the 3 powerful men of the Great Victory Kingdom. He is just a talented person. Don't tell me that you are the only 8th level person who has ever appeared in the Great Victory Kingdom. The old man denied it knowingly, saying that he was lured to the mountains, practiced taking single medicine and resting, and finally broke through the hair cleansing, so no one knew. The heroine is thinking that this old man is so powerful that she can't become her teacher. 8 months later, the heroine's belly is getting bigger and bigger. She has also learned a lot from the old man in these 8 months. The god of difficulty in love. During this period, all the old man's bullet notes were recorded and streamed. This operation shocked the old man. What a genius. The heroine is also very satisfied with her current life. Since Feng Qing found out that the heroine was still lucky, she practiced hard every day just to be able to better protect the heroine. One day there was a sudden sound in the woods. The old man was shocked. Recently, there have been frequent sales in the woods. Could something be wrong with Feng Qing? What on earth did the heroine do to make an 80-year-old man look so disgusted? Just now, A distance formation force occurred in benefit. The heroine learned that Feng Xing was still there and rushed to study it. The little old man is still advising you from behind. If you have a big belly, stop running around. It's better for me to go. As soon as I walked out of the gate, I met Feng Xing, an old man who ran into the fish place while riding a sand cart. Only Feng Xing is left to fight 2 rabbits. First I picked up a little hao shao and received it calmly. I was also nervous. I just went to grab some dinner. I caught only one that was sold out by the way. After saying that, he turned around and went to process the column codes. The old man tied multiple locks and whispered, I have to eat a lot of milk for dinner. It's so scary. How come the female protagonist is so low? You dare not eat yeast, the little old man said. I don't want to eat that kind of monster. Soon it's night. The old man is crazily tattooing the delicious food of satisfaction. Otherwise, I was a little confused as to why there was an extra dish tonight. I had never smelled the aroma of meat. Then I asked the hostess what the middle dish was. The hostess smiled harmlessly and said, you guys eat and see first. I'll tell you later. The old man and I once had a wild animal that shed their heart fat. What kind of meat is this? Isn't it so delicious? The hostess is smiling. Isn't this piece of meat brought back this afternoon? When Feng Xing heard this, he felt bad. This couldn't be a runaway kid, right? I just caught him for fun. Please give me back to God. This expression directly knocked the heroine into a fight. Randomly returned. Yes, it tastes delicious. Don't worry. I've checked it. This meat has syphilis. It's a practical type. You can eat it without worry. At this moment, the two fell into the air and fell to the ground. I saw the little old man looking helpless in his clothes and asked speechlessly. You said it was a good thing to sell meat and sleep late. But you, a cannibal, turned this night into a dish. I have lived for 80 years and have not dared to do this. I won't eat it. Xiaobao, the female lead singer, asked, you really don't want to eat? The old man turned around and said, don't you want to eat? The fat queen heroine pointed at Feng Xing and said mischievously, then let's eat. After breaking for a while, it was already 77:88. Master, you asked again. Master, if you don't do it anymore, then don't leave. In the end, the little net head is still used for food. Anyway, I have already eaten 1 piece. It's okay to eat a few more pieces. After saying that, I immediately added an additional term. Langtong ate it reluctantly, and my God, this smell is the truth. It makes the old man feel like he has returned to the history of Shaotai. However, just when everyone had eaten and drank enough, this old man seems to be in a situation. 5 heads ran away with random hands without stopping. The heroine and Feng Xing looked disgusted and didn't know what was going on. After a while, the spirit of Ling Ling came from the number of Ling. It smells so good. This little old man actually smashed a hole into the ground and was surrounded by golden light. The heroine is a little confused. How Xiao is already me. There can't be any problems. At this time, the old man seemed to be in a state of confusion. Pour out the warm plate and beat the raw stone peaches. Hit both of them as hard as possible. This is the power of Bucky's inquiry. You can't get close to him at all. What should you do now? I'm afraid you can't beat this old man who's taller than you. 10 of you can't beat him. The iron head skill that has been cultivated for 80 years is not something that can't be concealed. A person who was standing straight from Li Da was directly hit by Wu Ming's big hand. The ambassador of the life of the Red Dragon was directly cut off by the Blue Demon. Fortunately, even if Feng Xing ignored the heroine, he would have suffered miserably at the hands of this old colleague. At this time, the master also realized that this cheap master may have lost control of Xuanli, and he must quickly use his mental power to help him get through. Feng Xing doesn't dare to let the heroine take risks. The old man in this state is extremely dangerous. The heroine is also a person who values affection. The command of time is popular. Don't stop yourself from saving the old man. Although the owner has a tough attitude, Feng Xing is still very worried. Just when the two were arguing, the old man suddenly became accustomed to the two of them. Have you ever seen a long technique that falls from the sky with one move? Yes, this old man used the official Tathagata Shenzi. Smile when you sleep. He gave up all his strength and tried his best to resist the old man's palm, protecting the heroine tightly behind him. The heroine also has some interactions. Shu asked if Feng Xing was okay. In this case, as long as the man tries, it's okay even if it doesn't work. He randomly increases his power and doesn't fight against the red, old fox. He was directly blown away. In this case, someone asked why Baji had played 4 seasons, because the old man lost control and did not show his heroic spirit. The heroine saw that the old man was so horny that she felt that this was a good opportunity to formally approach her. So Faye moved up and wanted to choose Lee for his book. Who this old man reacted quickly and regrouped his strength. Looking at the woman in front of me, I have no good impression. Then ruthlessly shot a scene. Yuzu is not as active as the defensive angle. Fengxing Jianzhuang immediately shouted, "Master, are you okay?" The heroine didn't pay attention to her injuries. Instead, she said with a pity that she was still close and would be there soon. This old man is falling in love with the moon, and the young man, who is deliberately unforgiving, wants to go to the imperial examination. Believe in the feeling of Bangtong, the two of them fell in love with Hongmei again. At the same time, he also asked the heroine if the distance was enough, and then used his mental power to suppress her. The heroine Dahai's life is enough. Release mental power randomly and immediately. This old man was swollen by a layer of light, warmth and cold, and lost his physical strength. Then he fell to the ground. When he opened his eyes, he found that the two heroines were looking at him. It seems that there is nothing careless anymore. After waking up, I started to push hard and asked the guide in confusion, why did I sleep on the floor? What happened to me just now? The two hurriedly helped him up. The heroine then analyzed that your power of selection suddenly went out of control just now. I have used my mental power to help you out. It's okay now. The old man is a little confused. Your mental power can actually help me get through. Isn't it only a partner who can do this? Master Feather is back. Maybe I am special. I will go back and tell you slowly. Just step on the skin, otherwise the fever will subside and cool down. A random shock in my stomach and a huge pain came from. Fengqing worried Wenbao, Master, what's wrong with you? The old man got pregnant immediately. Send him home quickly. Wu Yang may be giving birth. They say that having a baby is like walking before the gate of hell. This is absolutely true. The heroine in this story is enduring pain that is unbearable for adults. There are no more midwifery suits for these Shan Yiling cases. I'm not good at this either. The heroine can only live her own life. Two grown men can only walk behind each other outside the door. Why is silence a kind of climate? The old man had no choice but to make money. Now everything has to be funded by the military. Fengqing asked worriedly, how long will it take to give birth? Is the baby out now? The old man talked about it directly, and his brain went crazy. You think this is an old mother's child? How could it be so fast? Don't worry, I have put more medicinal materials for replenishing qi. On you. At this time, the heroine is already in pain. My heart is full of ocean. Baby, if you go through it again, Wei Yang will not be able to hold on. Who would have thought that this kid would start to grow in his stomach? I want to bring your master and slave back to life, and keep thinking about your good intentions. When two people are fighting outside, they become nervous. The old man shouts loudly and shakes evenly. How are you? Is the child okay? Democracy seems to feel something is wrong. This is too difficult, and the source of communication is not right. What is going on? At this moment, the system suddenly prompted, Master Su, your current situation is very bad. The child in your body is too weak. If this continues, you may lose 2 lives. And even if you are born, it will be a stillbirth. The Lord immediately became anxious, and immediately pilled the system to save his child. A man in the Dijing seemed to feel something and couldn't help, but crushed the cup in his hand. This person is the king of war. That feeling came back again. It was the same as the last time I went to look for Zhang Wuyan. That emergency call 8 months ago was about Canada's famous new machine. It seems like something important is in danger. But every time I look for it along the hard drive, I feel like my inner thighs are instantly disconnected when I reach the end. So I immediately got up and went out, thinking that I must find him. At this moment, his subordinates came to report that Li Lai was here and asked the War King to go to the front hall to listen to the instructions. The King of War asked his men to carry it immediately, and he went to the front hall first. This father-in-law, Mizuki, asked the emperor to ask him to attack in 3 days. Fuxing and his army made silent words that stabbed the soul. The King of War asked what kind of saint she was. You mean the woman I met at the gate of the capital last time? She became the saint of the Great Holy Mother. Yes, after checking Zhang Wuyan's spiritual power level and confirming that he was from Wan City, the emperor decided that Zhang Wuyan was the Holy Mother. Still facing the with expression, he had a hunch that the woman who called herself Jun Wuyen was not the person he was looking for. At this time, the resistance of my subordinates has been cured. When the King of War reached the level, he became a skilled fighter and started fighting. Then he walked out directly. Tai Jian asked a little fiercely, "My lord, what will you do if Gongyang leaves 3 days later?" The War King didn't say much. "Hurry up and come outside." "Come on." "Hey." His subordinates are behind Dahai. The prince is the fastest from the capital to Wancheng. It will take 10 days to arrive. This round trip to the villa is for business. The cauliflower is cold. The King of War returned calmly. "No matter what, I will go again. The imperial people are not in danger. If I find him this time, I am willing to spend that night for the imperial people." If he is not found, the King of War does not continue and just pats the horse and leaves. This little kid, who is only 3 years old, talks like an adult. 3 years have passed since Yuzhu gave birth to Wa. Only when you practice every day can you live a practical life. There is a little fart who came over and caught the heroine. This thing is the heroine's child. Xiaoming, Zhang Xiaobai, Da Ming, Zhang Qingyan. This child is very naughty. He often steals food or carries medicine. He is simply a king of destruction. Wouldn't this eat the old man's treasured meat head again? Chi-atery music. Every time, I used my mother as a party building card. Are you proud to come together? I was helpless in the face of this missile devil. Who told me to speak softly? Look at the guilty look on it. I guess my old mother's pharmacy confused her again. The country is gone. The rest is for the pharmacy. Go straight to Sankai. This little guy even planned all the medicine jars inside. It was the last turn to submit the letter late. We all forgot about it. Every kid has a special skill. That's Mayman. He can't pretend to be clever. After 3 years, System Shakai 8888 is back, counting down in circles with excitement. At this time, he reminded the Yu clan that there were only 3 immortal lives left, and they must quickly go down the mountain and turn around. Set a small goal and transfer him 100 million first. The heroine also felt that it was time to go down the mountain. The auction day for riding was in 10 days, so she decided to go down the mountain 2 days in advance. Please let me have some exchanges. The old man agreed to go down the mountain with the heroine and the others. Once the little kid heard that he could go down the mountain to play, it was a new blessing. After the incident, everyone came to Wancheng. The old man, who had been photographed for many years, sighed as soon as he arrived in the city. It's good to be a late bloomer. My husband is finally back. After some conversation, I found out that the old man was a master at completing prayers with Jun Ao Qian. However, the old man is now an 8th level division selector who can suppress Jun Ao Qian. As soon as the heroine heard that the master was so powerful, she immediately took the old man to the military house to fight. Before Ling left, he threw cultivation star virtue to Fengxing and asked them to go to Chizinger to explain to him first. Don't forget to remind Missile Ghost to teach his father to stop talking about his mother outside. After talking to each other, the two of them separated, agreeing to meet at Kishenge Street. Feng Xianbian brought the kid to Kishenga, but I was met by Xiaxi's owner. The treasures for tomorrow's auction in our store have been decided. You two should please come back. The little kid has to take out a copy of Cultivation of the Heart and receive it. I feel that my treasure is more powerful than Shalinden. Please take me to see your master. Xiaxi was dissatisfied when she heard this. You little baby, who gave you the courage to speak out loud in embarrassment? Get out now. Fengxing is very unfaithful to this child. How can he tolerate others scolding him like this? When you're at the level, you just have to kick it. At this moment, Master Kishengeda arrived and shouted excitedly, Fengxing, it's really you. Go on the offensive and keep the temperature, but Wuyo has been doing well recently. Xiao Pinghai interrupted and said, my father is very good. He even asked us to bring you something good this time. Finished. I took out a book of cultivation experience, which was recently written by my father. It can help women enhance their mental strength through cultivation. When I opened the door and took a look, I was shocked. Stop, your father's brain is like a worthless treasure. The last letter said that my master ordered the auction of food and medicine to exert his greatest influence. Little Fart also has a popular drama. My father means to go to the capital for auction. With the title of Mr. Wu Yu, he wants to evacuate the entire Great Holy Kingdom. At this time, the heroine also arrived at the military compound. Why was it so deserted after a while? Could it be that the Jun family went bankrupt after 4 years of absence? Suddenly I found someone passing by in front of me. Without saying a word, he immediately tied up when. This old man can't stand such a dull look in his eyes. Just lay the crown prince and princess on the ground and stuff them into their guts. Why did the heroine and the others meet the prince? The story starts from the day when the heroine arrived at the military house. From the intersection where I was caught, I learned that the Jun family had moved to the capital. Master Yu was a little confused. Wasn't the Jun family accepted by the emperor to be the Wanqing of Zhengnan Road? Why did it suddenly move away? After Ganu's explanation, I found out that the name of the trading heroine Jun Ruoxue went to the capital and was conferred by the emperor as the holy name of the great victory. So everyone in the Jun family moved to the corner of the capital. After the heroine learned about the situation, it took about one night. Then I met Feng Xing and informed me of the situation. I still think I need to discuss it with the boss. Please go there as soon as possible. The next day, the heavy man will rise up and become the king of Shu. However, on the way, I met the prince who was out hunting. I accidentally ate one piece of my child's hand due to the part of the wheel. This causes the prince to be furious, and he will become a respected person in the world. What I didn't expect was that the military weak alliance was also here, and they came out to beat people in a hurry. The head of the house is also very busy and cannot accompany the prince. At this moment, the princess next to me suddenly said, "There is also a carriage behind you. Why don't you see anyone getting down with luggage?" As soon as the prince heard that Shunjian was so big, His Highness didn't even come to see him again. My wife is just about to go out and teach the prince a lesson. The heroine Lan said, "Master, I can just go. If necessary, I will ask you to come out. He will give it to you next time. Don't miss this opportunity to slap your face and earn cool points." We walked to the carriage together at the same level. The prince looked at the person in front of him and felt a little familiar. Seems like meeting me somewhere. Then he didn't think much about it and asked. Wei Ben didn't come down to pay homage just now. He still dared to stand in front of His Highness with courtesy, but didn't kneel down to beg for mercy. The hostess Jiyu returned sadly and asked for your forgiveness. There was a sick child on the carriage, so the time was wasted. As for why she didn't kneel down to build the structure, it was because Wu You's master was a cyclone master. According to national law, the descendants and disciples of those who have lost their opportunity, or are above the opportunity, can be exempted from all kneeling etiquette. And their status is equal to that of the prince and princess. The prince heard that there was a 7th level spin master in the car. This is what he did. Jun Ruolian, on the other hand, has been staring at the heroine for a long time. The mistress stepped forward to fight. Why is this young lady staring at me so curiously? Jun Ruolian replied, "Have I seen you somewhere?" The hostess waved her fan and said, "This lady is very sorry. We no longer fan in this way." Revise the arrogant face of the weak army. Then just think that when the heroine is about to leave, the prince suddenly said, "You said you are a disciple of a 7th level profound practitioner." As far as I know, there is only one 7th level profound practitioner. The old man of the Jun family, in Wan City. And now, that one is in the capital. You are deceiving His Highness. The heroine returned calmly. Who said that Wanqing was only a 7th level player from the Jun family? The prince said loudly, "Do you think Master Qi Jixuan is a big cabbage?" Apart from Jun Yaoqian, the other two Master Qi Jixuan are moving in the north and south directions respectively. They cannot appear at night. Seeing that he didn't believe it, the heroine immediately shouted, "Master, come out and let the prince open his eyes." The old man first looked at the door, and recorded a ghostly look in his eyes. The prince was removed from the circle of life at the same level. Then the first side starts to collapse. Unite Ma Dongbei, decline below. The prince raised his head with difficulty, and looked at the old man. How could the power of miraculous vision be so strong? This must have exceeded miracle. Even though the old man is so powerful, he dare not let him die. In the end, I can only watch them go away. But the prince hated the military language performed by the hostess. The same goes for Jun Ruolian. They all feel angry towards Jun Wuyo. The heroine's child suddenly changes. When I woke up from laughing, my eyes turned red. What on earth was going on? On the night when they arrived in the capital to ride the real horse, the heroine patted the naughty boy, who was undergoing a sex test. Then I discovered that the child's eyes turned grey-white. Some jump. I randomly asked the old man to come over and see what was going on. The old man serves the child and observes carefully. Attack her urgently. Send her to the room quickly, otherwise her life will be in danger. After taking care of the child, I asked the old man what was going on. The old man returned to Xiaobai's disease, which may be a disease brought by his parents. In fact, there is a link now, and his eyes may also develop diseases in the future. The heroine recalled that she must not have been in this situation. Could it be that man? Baotuo continued, this is a very powerful force. If it cannot be suppressed, it will collapse and even cause blindness. You need to use your mental power to help him. Xingzhong should be eliminated the next day. The Lost Master immediately used his spiritual power to help the child defeat the enemy. On the second day of professionalism, the sleeping heroine was woken up by the child. Suddenly I found that the child's eyes turned into. The heroine is not too concerned, as long as the child is fine. At this time, the old man and Fengqing also walked in. When the old man saw this person whom he recognized, the official announced that the child was fine, so he immediately raised the child to take him to eat something good. Fengqing is also a crazy insect frog, and he also wants to come up and explode. Then the heroine asked Ti to go to the corner and poke some. When we got to the 9th floor, the little guy drooled when he saw the food. The hostess asked her to wait until the old man and the others came over before eating. At this moment, there was a rustling sound from downstairs. The heroine looked over and saw the formal flying wings of a pair of centaurs between them. The man everyone is looking forward to. Finally I can come out and land again. Each time I took a closer look, I found that this man seemed to be a bit of an actor. I suddenly thought about it even from a man, because he sensed that the hostess was hostile to the deceased in her heart. He came to Jingchao Street. Is it around here? Now there is an avatar looking upstairs. In order to prevent him from discovering it, the Feathermaster quickly closed the window blindly. In this case, the King of War became even more confused. Could he be above? Immediately dismount and go up to see him. I came upstairs slowly. Then he asked the waiter where the suitcase near the window was. When the child looked at it, since it was the King of War, the Emperor was frightened and said it was Bao Ali number 1. At this time, the heroine didn't know that the King of War was coming. This missile devil is already salivating. At this moment, the door was suddenly pushed open. The heroine immediately looked towards the door. Their eyes met immediately. Master Yu was a little surprised. Why was it him? This is where the chest of War King dancer feels like. Then I was a little confused. Why was there only a man and a child in the suitcase? I quickly urged the King of War to leave. Others were eating. It seemed a little different for us to suddenly barge in. Who knows if the King of War will be able to come in and transport paperbacks. This move shocked all his subordinates. The heroine was also curious about what she wanted to do, so she immediately agreed. The family of 3 finally sat together. Unfortunately, the King of War did not know that the 2 people in front of him were his future wife and children. The saddest thing for a man is, the old mother and child were sitting in front of her without even realizing it. At this time, the War King has been looking at the Lord, and then he must ask his name. Have no worries in the army. This is my son Zhun Xiaobai. The King of War was stunned when he heard it. Zhun Wu Yao and Zhun Wu Yang. The 2 names are so similar. Could it be that this little brother in front of him has anything to do with Zhun Wu Yang? I was asked several times, do you have an older sister? Master Yu speaks some Chinese. He checked people's household registrations when they first met, but he still received it politely. Yes, but I don't need to tell the prince so clearly about my family's situation. The King of War also knows that he was rude. He will return to the current season. Don't get me wrong. I just have someone with you and want to get to know him. You want to get to know me, ya. Then tomorrow, the prince will come to compete with you. After saying that, the little Clothian was about to leave. After Wang Jinyu left, Lian Blind wanted to catch up and ask for details. However, he was stopped by Fengqing with a big knife. I can't feel the murderous aura in my stomach, so I want to put the knife on it. Democracy has suddenly turned around. If you can take a photo of its real treasure tomorrow, I will let you get to know it. The King of War was relieved after hearing this. He finally had the restraint of his wife. It would be a pity if it ended right here. The next day, there was already a sea of people killing people in front of his comrades. It was very lively and not counterproductive, because everyone has heard that starting today, a book called A Woman Who Can Cultivate Mental Power will be auctioned. This is simply a woman's clothing. Then came the auction site. Da Dang Jia is selling this. Promote this spiritual book. Also, everyone thinks that this spiritual book allows a woman to cultivate her spiritual power, which is too much effort. Zhun Ruolian is also begging the prince to help him take pictures. If he had this book, his status in the military family would be even higher. Mr. Hu Shuang is also here, looking at the heat under the factory. The King of War is also trying to avoid defeat today, so he took pictures of this book to get news about his wife. At this moment, some people began to doubt the authenticity of this book. It was a lie. When the big boss heard this, Dang Ji became angry. Who is Xiao Xiao down there? Come forward and speak. After that, this little guy stood up. I heard that this was done by Mr. Wu Yao, who was trained in Wancheng. But I am biased and don't believe it. Where is Mr. Wu Yao? Please let him come out and explain. When he finished speaking, a chair flew down from upstairs. Lei Fengfeng transformed and appeared on the stage. Then the heroine came in from the door worriedly. The child and Zhang Ruolian were a little shocked and greeted the people who came to the stage. Hai Feng, who was born at the same time, how could it be him? After the heroine did it, Erlang smiled and was very secretive. Do you have any questions that I would like to answer? Who is this young man showing his arrogance? The boss is also a little unreasonable. Tukuo, can you stop being so petty? Why did I treat you like a young master before? Mr. Hu Shang is more interested in the heroine. Wuyo, the emperor is loved again. But Wang looked at this scene with his hands in his hands and it was quite delicious. But he had Mao's capital. Danxia Shigeto seems to be so young, and this voice is earlier. But the heroine said in disbelief, if the older you get, the smarter you become, then why do you need a genius? The young man said in shock, you are too young. If it was Lin Dan and Lin Shu who really researched it, I would doubt their true role. As a man, you shouldn't be here to treat doubts. You have never eaten and you have not practiced. What qualifications do you have to eat a book? At this moment, a sword flew over. Carry out this difference in front of the main body. A woman who was not allowed to fall in love said, men can't, but women can always question it. This prince who had been forced to evict his family had to become slightly silent in front of the King of War. It's useless even to clean the air in the house. After the round just now, only one piece was peeled off in order to prove the role of chain zeros. The heroine had no choice but to ask a woman who had never practiced the spirit refining tree to compare with a woman who had practiced the spirit refining tree. The princess revealed herself and Fen Yongyao came on stage to test. He jumped straight down. How to test a major component of behavior. When the heroine takes out a test, let the princess test her mental strength first and wait for the opportunity. After saying that, the princess put her hand on it. At the end of the test, a 6th talisman appeared, indicating that the princess has level 6 mental power. But his mental energy is just a small light group. Even he himself was a little confused as to why he only had such a small group of level 6 mental power. The universe explains that for women who have not cultivated spiritual power, no matter how high your spiritual power is, the original source of your spiritual power is the same size at the beginning. This is a normal phenomenon. The princess then breathed a sigh of relief. Later, the ring pressure ring, who had taken Shalinden in the previous auction, was invited to appear. On the way back to the process, the heroine has asked her to practice zero number first. Even ordinary people will recognize such words. Follow up with the same test. Although he still has Wuji mental strength, but his energy group is much larger than the princess's. This shocked the princess. She couldn't compare to a pressure ring, so she asked for a demonstration. Immediately, it flew out 3 silver needles and rushed towards the pressure ring. Use pressure to gather your mental power to block the flying camp frames. There was no trace of wildness in his calm eyes. San Zheningzhen was instantly frozen in the air, unable to break through his mental power. Finally dropped it and put it on. Everyone was shocked. A level 5 pressure ring easily blocked a level 6 attack. The 2 princes were also shocked. This is the difference between those who have practiced spiritual power and those who have not. Miss Liujia also became excited and wanted to get this book. The atmosphere is already here. The heroine directly announced the start of the auction. Compared with the fake 100,000 taels, each time you enter the fake one, it will not be less than 100,000 taels. Mr. Wu Shuang looked at the heroine in the audience. This is such a smart and cute kitten. The King of War suddenly started fighting because he felt that Zhang Wuyan was here. I made up my mind to take a leave at all costs, and I must take a picture of the spiritual book. Only in this way can I have a chance to see the military name. Fire out 200,000, live out 400,000, I pay 600,000, both added 800,000 taels. This sounded, and everyone looked at it curiously. It turns out that the military weakling, who pretends to be the heroine, has also come. I am Naisheng, the heroine, and I am speechless. This training book is very important to me. I hope you will succeed. Jun Muyan, don't worry about your status here. Even if you are an old mother, you have to rely on your strength. If you don't have money, just wear a song. When Wei Zhuo heard this, he felt something was wrong. What's wrong with the witness? It was only then that I realized that I had almost forgotten that Zhen Ruoxue had used her son as her own. It was really uncomfortable to hear her son being scolded by others. The soldiers are so bloody that they are speechless. Then Miss Liu became a monk, and became a monk for another 1 million yuan. The prince ranked directly at 3 million. Miss Liu is not disappointed either, 5 million. Prince Yuya shouted for 8 million taels. The heroine Zhuanla spoke, please continue steaming. Now the watch has made a statement. It seems that Miss Liu has reached her limit, and is not teaching anymore. The prince felt relieved now. With such a high price, he must not be serious about it. The leading female teacher announced the results. At this moment, the king of war began to ban fighting. Our prince became a monk for 10 million taels. This price shocked the prince. 10 million taels. Is the king of war the wind? But war king, these 10 million taels are almost equivalent to a mansion in the capital. The war king looked at the heroine in the audience with deep affection. When I heard 10 million, the prince was already angry. But Zhen Ruolian asked the prince to help him take the photo. When I boiled the water, he cursed me. Are you crazy? Who dares to compete with the king of war? Are you seeking death? The king of war only read the small booklet. I am sure that this child must have something to do with me. He casually said something that shocked the three heroines. It all starts with the photo booth. Just when the war king offered 10 million or 2, the hostess was already laughing so hard that she was very satisfied with the price. The result will be announced at the next level. At this moment, another voice remembered that my young master became a monk with 11 million taels. Young master said that this is the only book on cultivating spiritual power in the entire Xuanwu continent. It is absolutely unparalleled and worth sending. Just when the king of war knew who it was, the guard next to him explained that this was Wu Shuang's Xiaxi. It seemed that Mr. Wu Shuang also wanted this book. The king of war didn't pay too much attention. Are we short of money? Let's continue filming. The truth about Lei and Fu's subordinates is Jingjia. In the king of war, the price is 20 million and 20. It was Hu Shuang's side who stopped the teaching. My young master said that the party's cultivation will not change, and the prince will join the faction. You are still playing the role of being a fool. You are a liar. The number one merchant in the Great Holy Kingdom is short of money. Is that intentional? The heroine doesn't care what they say. Mr. Wu Shuang, this Shenzhou palace is so awesome that he directly doubled the price for me. Xiaosai was a little confused as to why the young master was going against the king of war at this time. This is a drama about Wu Shuang Hui. Because Wu Yin likes Qian, it seems that Mr. Wu Shuang also has an inexplicable feeling for the heroine. In the end, the heroine announced that Wang Jingpai was successful. After the success of Jingkai, he asked his subordinates to take over the auction-related business, and he quickly went to find Wu Yu. Zhu Wuyan, you can't run away this time. Then the turkey and Firebird felt the heroine's bag. The other one is the prince. I thought it was some young lady who couldn't break in. If the young lady really broke in, I'm afraid she wouldn't be alive now. You think so, Mr. Mudanxian? No need. Didn't you invite me to have an in-depth discussion? Then let's talk about it. What are you talking about? Hasn't the prince understood the Communist Party today? I have already taken the Book of Soul Refining. Now it is your turn to accept my request. So what do you want, Lord War King? Hand over the 5 words. This sentence directly caused the heroine to take out the water she just drank. Doesn't this mean she asked me to hand myself over? But I still pretend not to know. My lord, who do you want to hand over? When the War King entered, he pretended to be stupid and talked about Zhen Wuyan again. The owner of the house is his and asked, why are you looking for Zhen Wuyan? The atmosphere at the scene instantly became tense. Just tell me where he's going, or hand him over directly. After hearing what he said, the heroine felt relieved. It turned out that she didn't know her identity yet. Randomly talking nonsense. The King of War is looking for Lady Katsu, so he should ask the military family for someone instead of asking me for someone. Not him. He is not the person I am looking for. Then the prince should ask other people. See you. The heroine was so rogue. The War King immediately became anxious and grabbed the heroine's shoulders. Buddha Yuju Sutra, did he really call me here? My soul has no connection with him. Why are you looking for me? Put aside the hand of the King of War at the highest level. Fenqing also stepped forward to block the tent net and said without regret, Your Highness, please come back. Just when I was about to leave. Otherwise it would be uninteresting to see. Suddenly I discovered that its eyes were as red as my own. Then he asked the hostess, You said this is your son, your biological son. The hostess returned impatiently. Of course, he is my biological son. Is there any problem? If this is the case, then I, the king, cannot see it with my own eyes. The old man thought that the war king wanted to use force, so he immediately looked at him. Even if you think you are a prince, don't forget that you are only at level 6. If you dare to bully him, I will not be polite. A suit doesn't count. I'm trying to help you. This kid has already started talking, right? Master Yu is a little confused. What kind of evolution? War King, what are you talking about? Zanming continued, the evolution will last for a day and a night at the beginning. The soul will be hot, and I will feel dizzy and have no energy. In severe cases, vision may also be lost. There is a layer of white film covering the eyeball, right? Zhongren was immediately shocked. How did you know? This is a woman who relies on the life potion of the river to achieve her special name. I have to find a way to take care of my straight fingers every day. At this time, the heroine went to take care of the trouble. How did the man in front of her know about her son's condition? The old man looked at the war king warily, and the little boy ran away in fear. However, the king of war did not force him. He just asked the heroine to think about it carefully. When the child has another attack, he will directly bring him to the king of war. After saying that, he smiled widely, as if he already knew. Feng Qing is also a little confused. What on earth is this war king paying attention to? The heroine also received Fumina. If she didn't know it, after a night of trouble, the system kitten jumped out and slapped people in the face with results. Today, 856 people were slapped in the face and received 90,000 cool hours. Since the last time I was a kitten, I have been imprisoned for 3 years. After that, the heroine became a kitten except for Ikea. Reggie asked the kitten to help exchange 3 years of life potion. The owner spent 3 years of life potion all at once. Now there are only 30,000 Shuangji left. Do you want to slap him in the face again? The heroine immediately drank a few bottles of brewed water and then said, of course I do, what can you do? The kitten said mysteriously. Time Wind walked in and said, the palace sent someone. The master suddenly understood. You asked me to go to the palace to slap you in the face. Then I won't be polite. Tai Jian in this shooting attack has been attacked by soldiers on the 3rd floor, and is waiting for later. The cosmic schoolmaster said, the public is a great light spirit. I don't have any worries. I'm not willing to do it. I don't have enough tea. I hope my father-in-law can see me. The father-in-law also replied with a few clichés and then moved on to the testimonial topic. Mr. Wu Yao had made outstanding contributions to the women of the Great Holy Kingdom. The emperor was deeply touched by Jingwei. I have sent our family a love gift to Wu Yao Gongzi. 3 days later, the empress will be born. Your Majesty also wants to take this opportunity to get to know you. If the list is free first, please come with us. Thank you, Your Majesty, for every worry-free visit to the palace to celebrate the Queen's birthday. As soon as I got a reply from the heroine, I said goodbye to my father-in-law. Feng Qian is a little worried and wants to attack himself. He can't stay with his master. What if there is danger? The heroine reassured her that someone would definitely target her for the hairdryer that went out of the country for this auction, but she had a stamp on it. So this time you have to deal with those who are targeting you. Such a good opportunity to slap you in the face is not easy to miss. Let's come to the Prince of War's mansion, and see what the Prince of War is doing. The King of War in this matter, has just finished slicing his clothes and got off. Take a closer look. The person in the transformation is actually the heroine. Judging from his expression, he seems to be in a good mood. She gently touched the heroine in this sentence and said calmly, we will meet again in 3 days of silence. Men become jealous and think about giving birth. Let Wang Qian be happy and reconcile. When he praises other men as a feather master, how long is the metaphor of Lao Lianla? Just then, the heroine was riding downstairs, waiting for a carriage to go to the palace. She waited for a long time and didn't even arrive. I was thinking like this, there is no way to go on like this. How about walking there? Just then the King of War's carriage came into view, randomly stopped at the fish course. I received it from Mr. Wu Yu. My prince, please get in the car. For example, I asked somewhat differently, how did the prince know our legs? But in my mind, he asked me to get in the car for no reason. There must be something wrong. Then I wanted to take the old man to other places to play with cars. At this moment, the King of War suddenly opened the door first and led the way. It takes 2 boxes to get to the palace. Even if a carriage from your side passes by. Other carriages in the palace cannot enter. Are you sure you can get into my car? After saying this, he looked like he was getting colder after dressing up, but in his heart, he felt like Malaysia had been waiting for so many days just to see it. When your King of War said this, Lord, you couldn't refuse, so he agreed. He didn't know that the King of War had already guessed that he was doing military exercises. The atmosphere in the carriage was a bit awkward at this time, and neither of the two couples spoke. But the old man helped them break this memory, and their mouths watered when they saw the table full of delicious food. Spend more money on him and eat it with big mouthfuls. The heroine looks at the old man's popularity and feels like a laser. The King of War didn't care, and let the old man eat as he pleased. Instead, he was a little interested in the heroine's clothes. This dress looks good. It looks like Jin Linger's show. You prepared it yourself. The King of War really has a good eye, but he actually went to the elf grid to prepare it. But it was not me, but my guard who helped me prepare it. Feng Xing is more attentive than me. The clothes I prepared are quite thoughtful. Can you do it? It seems that he takes good care of you. It seems that what he said is wrong. The old man didn't forget to talk while eating. Of course, Feng Xing's boy had experienced life and death with him. Not only was he very stubborn, but he was also very careful and considerate to him. Feng Xiaozi is really a good man, right? Wu Ye looked at the old man's expression. This was not intentional. Yuzu also said cooperatively, Feng Xing is indeed very good at blurring. When Wang Wang heard this, his face darkened. He didn't expect that someone would protect him while I was away. He stood speechless and confused with so much fatigue. It was really confusing. I randomly asked the heroine why she didn't bring her son out today. Maybe I can check her current physical condition for her. Master Yu didn't know what the man in front of him wanted to do, so he immediately replied perfunctorily. The water tribe in the palace jumped away. That boy was very deserted. It would be bad if he brought him here and offended Long Yang. Who is going to the drama, the King of War? I'm here. Who dares to touch him? The two people who were drinking water were startled. They thought that the King of War didn't know yet. So they thought this sentence was a bit inexplicable, but the expressions of Wang Jian and Wang Jian are a bit strange. Don't ask, what's wrong with you? It's not like King Ruji hits the original factory. It's okay. Maybe he was a little drunk and was forced to do so, but he was hostile in his heart. This War King is so strange. Why do I feel that I can't understand what he said? Soon he came to aviation. When the heroine was about to get off the car, I've been coming here to keep myself safe. The War King said calmly, I'll pick you up and get off the bus. Yuanzu was even more confused. What happened to the king today? Is he running away? I don't know what the King of War wants to do, so I can only refuse his kindness first. But Wang didn't rush to beg. He turned around and told the heroine that there was still some way to go. The War King of the great victory of the Tang dynasty became a rough talker. Before the attack, he was still calm and calm. The heroine followed her and asked, My lord, you have been so kind to me all the way. Do you want to drag me into the fire? The King of War suddenly turned around. I want you to be mine. Are you willing? After hearing this, the old man became a little fierce. What does this mean? Old man, I am a little confused. The heroine thought that the War King wanted her to be his subordinate, so she immediately said that she would not become someone else's subordinate. Wang Jian, a stupid woman, still doesn't understand what she means, so she can only say helplessly that you can think about it before making a decision, but I am not as good as me. After saying that, he tied Jiu Gu's button and left. What does the King of War mean by leaving behind two people who continued to have sex? We turned around and arrived at civilian workers. This place is dedicated to receiving phone calls from the inspector family. At this time, there were already many people in the big store, and the owner's grandfather was also there. Sitting on the other side is the prince. As soon as the War King came in, the whole city began to pay their respects, which showed his high status. The other master silently followed behind him. This may be the man's highlight moment. Everyone tried their best. Niu Guochu is coming soon. Just let the heroine sit in the Zhuanxi family's seat. At this time, the heroine is wearing male escorts, so naturally she cannot sit on the military side. The old man is also taking other opportunities to declare his leisure time. The bragging fish didn't forget to scrape his own land. It was Wu Shuang who hurried back to say hello. He didn't expect that the heroine would also come to the palace. Just as they were chatting enthusiastically, the War King also noticed them and became careless in an instant. It's this boy Wu Shuang. He's so close to my family Wu Yan. It's really abominable. Just then the emperor got married. I greeted everyone politely and then said, according to past habits, we will continue the annual competition among the ordinary workers. The final winner will win the prize carefully prepared by me. Wei Wu's heart beats when he looks at the blood. This is also from the blood rain in the book. Such a good orange color is worth even more, and it is a rare miracle for practitioners. The King of War saw that he was a little moved, and he made up his mind. He must get this piece of fish and give it to him. Such a good opportunity for performance should not be missed. After that, the rules of the game began to be explained. Huangzu and the nobles of the aristocratic families drew lots respectively. The side that drew the hand character started with the hand type. The other side sent an opponent of equal strength to fight the class. Until the points were drawn, the saint continued with the hand type. It was Wu Shuangshi who was the first to start drawing lots, but he planned to ask the military personnel to help him withdraw money. The heroine didn't refuse either. I smoked it for him that season. I'm really lucky. I got a bye in the first round and didn't have to play. The King of War watched them talking and laughing. Not only was the palace's promotion not enough for him to drink, but his luck was not that good and he won the hand bud lottery. But he just lied and didn't play and asked Tai Jian to declare that he had a bye and didn't need to play. After the points are divided, only the prince from 5 Jizhuan style and Liu Jian from 4 Jizhuan style can play first. The battle begins and the prince takes the lead. Keep the goose egg bottom and it. The two named me RPO. Move to Liuyi building. It can be seen that the vagina is boiling. Prince Wushuang's point on Pingdao and Liu Jian are good, but they are still a little worse than the prince. The prince became a level 5 inspector at the age of 25. And he defeated the level 5 war king at the age of 22. He can compare with him. When I heard about the King of War, I looked towards the opposite side. The Firehawk had a sullen face. It seemed like someone owed him 5 million, yes. Walking on the feet also breeds strength. This war king is simply incomprehensible. After an accumulation competition, I entered the hygiene field better than the world. Facing your own first level flow pool. The prince actually struck hard directly. Call the person who charges the unified fee. Rabbit bleeds after manual injury. So I was a little dissatisfied, and as long as I agreed, why would you do such a heavy hand? When the two young masters saw the heroine giving birth, they immediately went up to teach the prince a lesson. The King of War's wife also blocked it. It's Wu Shuang's provocation. Go straight to the point. Comes the anger of King Zhong. Just now, Wu Shuang went directly to the stage to challenge the prince in order to give the heroine an early stage. The prince looked unbelieving. This is Wu Shuang who looks like a woman. He actually changed his pair to challenge me. After saying that, he directly waved his fist as big as a casserole. Shi Xiang was unparalleled. It was Wu Shuang who easily dodged the attack. Fried noodle knife. Is this all you have? I didn't expect you to look so homeless, and still have some strength. But that's it. Get out of here. This sentence made Wu Shuang angry. I originally wanted to play with you, but seeing how you settle things like this, don't blame me. The heroine is looking at Shi Wu Shuang with great interest. She has a feeling that Shi Wu Shuang should be very powerful. Unexpectedly, the War King is always paying attention to him. Zhang Wuyan, you actually dare to look at that damn Shi Wu Shuang. It is me who wants to fight for your blood domain. At this moment, Wu Shuang must not use his ultimate move. As soon as Hui Wuzfen reaches the palace of the mysterious weapon, he must not use his ultimate move. Prince Lu looked so troubled. I didn't expect Shi Wu Shuang to be so protective. Then Liang Dao Honghong washed his gloves. The prince lost this shack directly. It's not Jingqiang who said, you are definitely a weapons patrol. Everyone in the audience got angry when they heard that Shi Wu Shuang was a weapons inspector. Who dared to challenge a weapons inspector? Are they looking for death? Zhang Wuyan was a little worried. There was someone who hadn't taken action yet. Just then the tent king stood up. Mr. Wu Shuang seems to be in danger. Let me play with you. I was joking too. I'm not joking with you. We don't need more. Zhang Wuyo is my king's people. You'd better keep a distance from my king's people. The heroine of Meng Bai is even more compromised. When did she agree to be hers? The King of War actually said it wouldn't take long, which means Wuyo hasn't agreed yet. Then who will be in contact with Wuyo in the future? The King of War won't be able to control anyone, right? Besides, Wu Yao and I are still business partners. No matter how close we are, we don't care about the King of War. This continuous verbal legend makes the King of War directly bow down to him. I can't beat you at this age, so let's use our strength to speak. I'm looking forward to a fight with you. After saying that, the two of them went directly to each other to charge money. A burst of lightning is a machine that makes people look at their spirits. This is the battle of senior patrol, after dozens of fierce confrontations. But the number of unparalleled opportunities is far away. If your legs are bleeding, choose first. It seems that there is still a little gap between 5G electric wind and 6G. Don't be afraid and don't give up. Once again, it's from Liu Chang's ultimate move. I didn't expect you to have advanced academic qualifications. Go up and down your back. It seems you haven't realized the gap between us before. Make people intersect at full length. Then a strong atmosphere broke out, blowing the heroine's hair warm. This is powerful force. I must have this power in the future. Then Wu Shuang bowed down and came to Zhenglai. The War King watched proudly as he received the defeat. I said it this time and again next time. After saying that, the direction of the rumors turns to the Lord. Stop comforting me. There is no need for any more. You are already strong. It's the Wu Shuang bowl. Burn it. Then he gave the heroine a dose of devil's head sand. This sudden move made Jin Wuyan, but I was embarrassed. It's so good that I can't die. This thing was seen by the King of War again. The snowfish that time was placed raw on the table. Pray for your blessing and say hello to you. After saying that, he turned around and left. I didn't even need to eat dinner today. I was so angry. Zun Wuyan is very confused. This person is really inexplicable. The heroine is strong. And tell me about this poison. Goodbye. The two men were covered in cold sweat while going in and out. Why try poison? Just now, the King of War was supposed to give the blood domain to Zun Wuyan after the match. The Emperor was a little excited. How could he, the Emperor, be interested in a man? The King of War was having the wrong idea at this time. He wanted to see it, but he was embarrassed to see Zun Wuyan. I really can't understand the heroine's behavior towards the King of War. When Zhu Wuyan was admiring the blood relationship, it was Wu Shuang who came over again. Wuyo, do you like blood? Don't you think he's pretty? It was Wu Shuang who looked at Zun Wuyan affectionately and said, it's indeed very tempting. Also become a family, being Jiu, Ji by Wu Xia. As usual, people can't help but want me to warm him in my hands. This sentence seems to explain. The cross is talking about people. It seems that Wu Shuang has long known that Zun Wuyan is a woman and half a man. At this time, the heroine also discovered that Wu Shuang had been staring at her, and the editor asked him what was wrong. It was Wu Shuang who smiled awkwardly. It was nothing. I was just attracted by these beautiful eyes. Zun Huyan thought he had suffered a mistake. At this moment, because the little brother jumped out, Junmu used. I heard that you are very good at practicing singles. Do you dare to compete to see